When it comes to experiencing exciting football, nothing compares to the high school stage. Seeking their first title in 13 years, perennial championship contender Loyola enters tonight's game riding a 7-game win streak. The Jackrabbits of Long Beach Poly are no strangers to championships, wearing the Division I crown in 4 of the last 6 years. And tonight's matchup will add yet another chapter to their long-standing rivalry.
I think it's going to be another dogfight, another Loyola Poly game that we're going to slug it out, and we're going to see what happens, and we'll see what happens.
Tonight, a clash between two of the richest programs in the history of Southern California high school football.
This is our time.
The CIF Southern Section Division I Football Championship is next. Live from the brand spanking new Home Depot Center in Carson, California, welcome to the CIF Southern Section Division I Football Championship, presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Tonight, a matchup between the first and second seeds. It's the Long Beach Poly Jackrabbits against the Loyola Cubs. And hello, everybody. I'm Darren Horton. Good to have you along with us. Solomon Wilcox is here. And Solomon, you grew up in Compton, played high school football at Rubidoux and Riverside. You played in the CIF championship. What are these kids going through as they get ready for this game?
Well, as you play in a game like this, it's a moment where it defines your entire high school career, particularly for the seniors. Yes, they're going to go to their prom and they're going to have their graduation, but they're going to look back on a game like this and on a night like tonight, and it really will, for them, define their entire high school career.
When you talk about the matchup, Long Beach Poly, everybody knows about them. They've sent more players to the NFL than any other high school in America, and they have another bumper crop led by their senior running back, Anthony Terrell Baker.
Well, once again, Poly has a number of weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but the straw that stirs the drink is their running back, Anthony Terrell Baker. He can take it to the house from anywhere at any time, whether he's taking the ball from behind the line of scrimmage or catching the ball out of the backfield. Then they have their leading wide receiver, Derek Jones, 44 receptions. He's an All-American. He's going to put up big numbers and make big plays. Their number 2 go-to guy is Deshaun Jackson, 34 receptions of his own. So when they spread that ball around, look out. Anyone can take the ball to the house at any time. They have so many weapons, Darren.
When you talk about Loyola, they don't quite have the athletic ability that Poly has, but they have another intangible that can oftentimes make a big difference in football, and that's toughness and intensity.
Well, that difference is their defense. They are the guys that really get it done for Loyola. If you talk to their head coach, Steve Grady, he'll tell you they're the reason why they're playing in this game here tonight.
We have played extremely good defense, much better than we did in the first 6-7 games. And I think that has carried us to where we are right now. Now, offensively, we've done some good things. We're not as consistent, obviously, as we'd like to be. But defensively, I think the last 5 games just put us here today.
It was the defense that came up big in last week's semifinal game. The win over Los Alamitos, a terrific goal line stand. 3 plays inside the 2-yard line where they slammed the door shut and turned Los Al back. Again, they are the reason why they're playing in this game tonight. That defense is very strong, very difficult to run the ball up the middle because they're so strong, so stout, and they play with a great deal of intensity.
So we've got an athletic offense, a strong defense. What is the key to the game?
Well, I think the key to the game is going to be Poly's athleticism matched up against that physical intensity of Loyola. Something has to give. The harder you hit, it tends to slow down that athleticism. Of course, Loyola, they must control the ball on the offensive side of the ball, win the time of possession, and keep those weapons for Poly off the football field. Then I think turnovers are always the great equalizer. Loyola, their defense came up with the turnovers last week, and Poly, they turned it over 4 times in last week's game. They can ill afford to do that tonight if they're going to be successful.
Well, it is a rematch of the 2000 CIF championship. It should be a good one. We'll be back with the kickoff. It's the CIF Southern Section Championship coming up next. And welcome back to the Home Depot Center. Darren Horton, Solomon Wilcox. We are getting set for the Southern Section Division I Championship. It's Loyola and Poly as the team introductions are being made. And Solomon, this is a special moment for these guys to have their moment in the sun, if you will.
Well, it's a big night, particularly for the seniors. They all want to go out winners. They want to be able to look back on this moment for the rest of their lives and see it as one of tremendous achievement. From the time they arrive on campus as freshmen, this is the dream, to be able to win a championship in your senior year.
For Long Beach Poly, they are going for their 15th title. For Loyola, they are going for number 5. A rematch, as we mentioned, of the 2000 championship game between Poly and Loyola. That game went to overtime, and it was won by Long Beach Poly. And at that time, Coach Lara was the defensive coordinator. But now he's in his 3rd year as a head coach. He's won a championship in his first year in 2001. And he has very high expectations for this program. He says, we expect to be in this game year in and year out.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He knows about the tradition. Only losing 5 games in 3 years, that tells you, he has high standards and the players live up to it.
You talk about Loyola and the great tradition of Steve Grady. Not only is he a terrific coach, he won his 250th game. He's been there entering his 28th season. You see the record there, 259. And 74-6. Steve Grady was a terrific high school player, an alum of Loyola.
Only 1 losing season in 28 years. I just find that very remarkable. Just tells you he has to be a tremendous teacher and the ability to work with young people to get them to perform at such a high level on a consistent basis. I think it speaks volumes of Steve Grady.
It's interesting the contrast of styles of the 2 head coaches. Steve Grady, a disciplinarian, and until this year when he got his talented young quarterback Scott Dakey, he was more of a 3-yard in a cloud of dust type of grinded out offense, but he's opened up the offense because he has a terrific quarterback this year.
First of all, if you coach and teach at a Jesuit school, discipline is part of the curriculum. You can bet you're going to learn to get in line and do things the right way. It's just a tremendous place to gain an education. But yeah, Steve Grady, he has been able to open it up. They bring over Ken O'Brien as their quarterback coach. Of course, he was a former quarterback for the New York Jets. He's been working with Scott Dakey. And so when you have the talent, because I talked with Grady, he says, I looked at the talent, looked at the ability of our quarterback. We had no choice but to open it up.
You see the all-time series. This is the 15th meeting between the 2 schools. Their first meeting back in 1929. Loyola did win the toss. They decided to defer, so Poly is going to receive. Kicking it off will be Thomas Weber, and back to receive the kickoff is the very fast Anthony Terrell Baker, who we talked about in the pregame. And the kick is a low one, and it's picked up. It's going to be Deshaun Jackson bringing it left side, cutting, still on his feet, crossing the 30 and brought down at the 35-yard line by Ross Kilroy of the Lions. So now we'll get our first look at the young quarterback, the junior, Cruz Parsons, number 8. He's only 5'10". He doesn't have the sexy height that a lot of Southern California quarterbacks have, 6'4", 6'5". He's only 5'10", but he's very effective.
Yeah, he can get it done. The thing is, he's got to come out and I think get off to a good start. 3 interceptions last week. Certainly don't want to turn the ball over tonight.
Parsons will go right to the ground game. It's Terrell Baker spinning his way, picks up 8 yards on the first play. Horrigy makes the tackle, Chris Horrigy, the senior. So that'll bring up about a 2nd and 2.
Yeah, Darren, and Poly came out and elected to, not use a huddle when they ran that first play. It's just one of those things. You want to come out, hit it fast, and try to catch the defense off balance.
Double tight end set for Poly. A little play action for Parsons. He's looking deep. He's got a man. It's Derek Jones, but he overthrew him.
Jones is streaking down the middle of the field, and Parsons had him. I thought he could have maybe led him a little bit more across the field, allow him to use his speed. That time he threw too far up the field, more vertical, as opposed to leading him across the field away from the defender. Certainly had room to run. But I can bet you're going to see this a number of times tonight. They're going to continue to throw it deep.
Here are the weapons: Ryan Smith, Anthony Terrell Baker, Terrence Austin, Derek Jones, the All-American, and Deshaun Jackson, the very talented junior. Back to the ground game, and this time Loyola snuffs it out. Quick play, quick tackle made by Brian Ray.
Well, Brian Ray is one of those guys on defense that can get it done, sneaking through that offensive line of Poly. They have just about all seniors up front for Poly on that offensive line.
So a punting situation for the Jackrabbits. They pick up 8 yards on the first play, but are not able to convert. And on the punt is Mike Spoor. Back to receive for the Cubs is Jim Abbott. Great punt. And it's going to roll, just gets across the end zone stripe. A terrific punt by Mike Spoor. And they're hoping that he could be the first punter in Poly history to receive a scholarship.
Well, with punts like that, I'd say sign him up right now. He launched this one, and it almost, it was like a golf shot. He almost was able to kill that one inside the 5-yard line, where it just kind of died there. And all he needed was to get someone down there to hold that ball up, because it barely trickled into the end zone.
So we get our first look at the Cubs on offense. Scott Dakey, their quarterback. They'll start at the 20-yard line. Twin receivers on the right. They'll send a man in motion. It's Trayson Bragg. Handoff underneath, an explosion play. George Hippolyte. He picks up 8 yards before Lorenzo Bursey brings him down.
Hippolyte, he's one of the many guys. We talked about the offensive weapons for Poly, but these guys, Ian Wilson and the other guys, they're really good offensive players for this Loyola team, and then they have a senior-led offensive line. These guys are all seniors. When you have a senior-laden offensive line, you can expect to make big plays.
So second down for Dakey. They go twin backs. They hand it off, and it's Trayson Bragg. And it looks like he's got the first down as he goes over right tackle. Marcus Fennell brings him down for the Jackrabbits. Defensively for Poly, it's Willie Davis, Jonathan Tuua, Jonathan Toyaola, and Marcus Fennell. The linebackers and defensive backs, you see him, Liam Alo. He's the linebacker that has been making a ton of tackles, leads the team in tackles with 120. Dakey calling signals. Twin receivers out on the left. Bobbles the snap. Backs up. Has got time. Going deep. Got a man. Threw it a little behind him. He was looking for Chris Johnson, but the ball was simply thrown behind.
Well, Johnson now also had a step on the defender, but the problem starts with the snap. Dakey did do a good job of holding on to the ball, and I think it's that play that allows them to get behind the safety. As you saw, number 5, Van Rotney, kind of bit up a little bit on that play, allowing Johnson to get behind him. Sometimes you can have that strange anomaly at the center quarterback exchange. The defense sort of lose their balance and lose their awareness. That time they almost got hit on a big play.
They spread out the field. Dakey, again, another problem with the snap. They fumble the ball, and Poly is saying they have it. And they do. So we talk about the turnover, Solomon, and we get our first turnover of the game. Jonathan Tuua recovers the fumble.
This is something Steve Grady does not want to see. The snap from Will Avaringa, the center, but it looked as if Dakey actually had the ball and wanted to hand it off, and then lost control of it. And this is exactly what Steve Grady did not want, is to turn the ball over on a short field to this Poly offense, who are going to go with the no huddle right now. They're difficult enough to stop without giving them extra opportunities, turning over the football and then allowing them to get the ball at your 34-yard line.
Solomon, we got a break in the action. 9:07 on the clock. We are scoreless here at the CIF Southern Section Championship. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the CIF Southern Section Division I Championship, presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Cruz Parsons back to pass across the middle, incomplete, but we got a flag. He was looking for Derek Jones,
Yeah, he was trying to get Jones over the middle. Jim Abbott got there a little early. Watch, here's the pass from Parsons. See number 27, the contact. That's Jim Abbott making contact on Jones before the ball arrived. That's pass interference. He's just going to have to do a better job of timing it up. But it was a well-thrown ball by Parsons, and I think a ball that would have been caught by Jones had Abbott not interfered.
Our referee tonight is John Stoney. Talk about Derek Jones. He is one of the best wide receivers in the country. He can write a ticket to go to any school. And I'm talking Oklahoma, Miami. They go back to the ground game as David Terrell Baker. Tim Walter is brought down.
Yeah, Loyola right now is where that defense is going to have to come up big. We talked about the goal line stand last week against Los Alamitos, where Steve Grady was so proud of his defense. You heard him talk about it in the open, said how his defense is the reason why they're here today. Well, here's a situation where they're going to have to stand up. After the fumble by the offense, now they're going to have to make a play, try to get the ball back and turn back this offense for Pollard.
Cruz Parsons feeling some pressure, and down he goes. He's sacked by Hunter Armour.
That's the play that Steve Grady wanted, and I'm sure that's the one he says, hey, we need it. Watch him coming right up the gut. It's a free safety blitz. Armour is unblocked. They bring more than they can protect. Parsons has to do a better job of reading the defense, understanding that the blitzer is coming free, be able to get rid of the fall. I think it was just a really well-timed blitz that time by Armour, who disguised it perfectly because Parsons never saw him coming.
And Armour has some speed. He's on the Loyola track team. Says he wants to go to the Naval Academy. He's a senior. So this will bring up a 3rd down and long for Cruz Parsons as he rolls out. Trying to buy some time, being chased. Gets up the sideline, spins close to a 1st down, but I believe he's about a couple of yards shy as he's brought down by James Abbott.
Parsons is a guy, he doesn't run much. He has 3 rushing touchdowns on 41 carries, only 152 yards rushing this year, but they do like to roll him out, try to buy a little extra time. And when you sense a team is going to blitz like what Abbott did on the previous possession, on the previous play, I should say, then you want to roll him out, get your quarterback out in space, allow him to make a play.
Solomon, it's 4th down. Poly has had some problems in the kicking game. Nate Smith wasn't even able to convert the PATs last week, so they're going to go for it here. 4th down and 2 yards for the Jackrabbits. They'll spread it out. Long snap count for Parsons. Flips it. Anthony Terrell Baker tries to cut it back, and he's stopped immediately by Matt Hillier, leading a group of Cubs, and Loyola holds.
Well, we told you they needed a play from the defense. Poly elects to go for it on 4th down. I'm sure Steve Grady said, hey guys, they're giving us a chance to get the ball back. It was really based off the penetration. They tried to run it over to the right side, and they really had that side sealed off, forcing Baker to cut it back, and then they were able to pursue to the football and prevent him from picking up the 1st down. Just an excellent stop that time by the Loyola Cubs on the defensive side of the ball.
We talked about the toughness and the intensity of this Loyola defense, and they come up big. So here come the Cubs on offense. They again go to Hippolyte, and he's able to get a couple of yards. But Poly's defense has been outstanding as well. They've given up 7 points over the last 2 weeks.
Well, this is where we talked about in the open that the Loyola offense has to play keep away from Poly's offensive weapons. So they have to, I think, sustain a drive here, try to kill some time off the clock, allow your defense to rest. You can ill afford to go 3 and out and punt the football back to Poly and allow them to get the ball around midfield. Try to keep your defense off the field by sustaining a drive at this point in the game.
They have the big back to do it in Hippolyte. Play action. Dakey looking underneath out in the flat, and it's complete to Matt Appenfelder, and he is very close to a 1st down.
Appenfelder, he knows what he's doing. He's a junior, but you know what? He comes back to the football. Scott Dakey has a really nice, strong arm. Watch him get this ball out. But Appenfelder comes back to the ball, and that's why he's able to make the completion in front of Vincent Joseph. Vincent was there in excellent coverage, but Applefelder came back to the ball and made a good catch.
Dakey again, back to the ground game. It's Trayson Bragg over the right side. He picks up 4 yards on the play before Lorenzo Burley brings him down. You talk about the arm of Scott Dakey. He is a talented senior. He's going to the University of Virginia. He's already committed. So he's going to go play in what should be, according to all the college prognosticators, should be the best division in college football.
Well, he's going to play at Virginia. He's going to get some good coaching. I mean, he's getting it here from Steve Grady, and then Al Groh, a former NFL coach, is a wonderful coach. He's turning that program around, and Scott Dakey will be a huge added addition to that program.
Again to the ground game. It's Bragg again. He picks up 2 more yards on the play. Jeremiah Tolumu able to make the tackle.
And so this is a big 3rd down play for Loyola, because if they can pick up the 1st down, it just, again, gives their defense some time to rest and catch their win. They've played a number of snaps so far in the game. After stopping Poly on that last drive, they're going to need a little bit more rest, because the speed that Poly brings, they're going to test you.
3rd down, 3 yards for Dakey. Dakey with time across the middle, overthrew his man, was looking for Andrew Thornton on the play, but now they are going to have to punt it.
Oh, this is the 2nd time I think Dakey has a guy up the field that he could have completed the pass. And this one, he just threw it on a rope. And you have to soft toss this one over the defender where your guy can get it. See, he throws it on the flat line, but certainly he had a man wide open. I think he was deeper where he could have lofted the ball up and dropped it in over the hand of the defensive back, allowing his guy to catch it and run for a touchdown.
He was feeling some pressure. Thomas Weber on for the punt, and it's a low one. And it just kind of dies at about the 42-yard line, and that is where the Poly offense will come back on. And so far, we are scoreless with about 4 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the game. The CIF Southern Section Championship presented by Toyota. We'll be back right after this. Vic, you gotta let me know, like, how much time. Welcome back to the Southern Section Division I Championship presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. We're scoreless here at the Home Depot Center. So far, it's been a stalemate. So Cruz Parsons will come back on for Long Beach Poly, and they spread it out. It looked like a broken play. That one looked bad from the very beginning, and Tim Walter brings down Cruz Parsons. Take a look at the Loyola Cup defense. Ian Wilson, Desmond Taylor, Cody Olison, Tim Walter, who just made the sack, and Chris Harrigy, who had a terrific game a week ago. Hillier, Brian Ray, Matt Appenfelder, Trayson Bragg, Hunter Armour, and Jim Abbott.
Loyola runs that 50 defense. It's what they've always have ran here under Steve Grady. 5 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and they want to get penetration and not allow you to run outside.
Parsons again out to pass, gets it out into the flat to Deshaun Jackson, and Loyola stops him after he gets up maybe 4 yards. But remember, they lost yardage on that 1st down sack. So he gets up to about the 45-yard line, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 9.
But you notice the speed of Jackson, and you notice many of the early plays from Poly so far in the game. They're trying to get out on the perimeter. Loyola is so strong, trying to run the ball up the middle is virtually impossible. So they're trying to use their speed to get out on the edges, out on the perimeter of that defense, and try to break one from there.
Get them out in open space and let them run. That is their strength, the athleticism. Parsons pumps one way, comes back the other way, looking for Jones, and he makes the grab. Wow. There you see the speed that we've been talking about from Derek Jones, the senior who is being sought after by every school in the country.
Well, this is Jones versus Jones. Derek Jones matched up against number 21, or I should say number 23, Lewis Jones. And this ball is thrown where his guy can get it. And it was Jones' ability to adjust to the ball, work back inside, and his speed to accelerate and close in on the football. And look at him get both hands out in front, and still he's able to haul it in. Wonderful play.
Now to the ground game. Anthony Terrell Baker scoots inside for 3 yards as he's brought down. We talk about Derek Jones on that previous play. Florida State, Florida, Miami, Oklahoma, UCLA, USC. Those are the final schools that he is considering.
Well, you know, Steve Grady, he told me when I talked to him, he said they have so many players, so many talented players, it just makes you nervous because they have a guy who can break it open on any given play.
Double tight end set. And it's DeSean Jackson making the grab for the first touchdown of the game. Poly takes a 6-0 lead.
Well, Jackson's matched up over on that right-hand side against James Abbott. And that's what Grady was concerned about, is getting in those one-on-one matchup against guys who just possess so much speed that it's difficult to match up. You see over on the right side at the bottom of your screen, and it is just a poor angle by Abbott. If he comes a little bit straight, I think he's able to make the tackle. He broke inside, and Jackson had a free ability to walk into the end zone.
So DeSean Jackson, who just caught that touchdown, he's the holder on the PAT. Mike Spoor on to make it a 7-0 lead for Long Beach Poly. So a 45-yard pass to Derek Jones sets up a touchdown pass to DeSean Jackson, and just like that, Poly on top 7-0.
And this is what Grady was really concerned about. You know, the offense's inability to sustain the drive. They were forced to punt and then give the ball back over to this offense. Again, so many weapons. As you see Jackson go into the end zone to get the first touchdown of the game. You give them a number of opportunities, they're going to score. And you have to limit those opportunities. That's the only way you can really factor in trying to keep them out of the end zone.
You see Steve Grady over there trying to figure out what to do now. He is not happy with what happened on that deep pass play. So now Poly will kick it off, and we'll get a chance to see if the Cubs offense can put together their own drive. Jim Abbott, Matt Appenfelder back to receive the kickoff. And it's going to be Abbott up the center of the field, crossing the 25-yard line, down at about the 26. And that's where Scott Dakey and the offense will come on and try to answer what Poly just did.
Well, the thing is about the offense, as you take a look at Raul Lara getting his team together. But the thing about Loyola on the offensive side of the ball, they've had opportunities. Dakey has had receivers who've been open. He's overthrown them. I think you go back to doing some of the things you were doing previously and knowing that, hey, we're getting guys open. Now we just have to execute and make the throw and hit the big plays ourselves.
Like you said, Solomon, they need to sustain a nice long drive to keep that explosive Poly offense off of the field. Grayson Bragg spins for 3 yards over the right side. Marcus Fennell, who is a talented offensive lineman, makes the grab.
Well, you see the 5 plays. It only took 5 plays to go 57 yards to hook up with Jackson for the touchdown. That's that quick strike ability that Poly possesses on the offensive side of the ball. When you can go 57 yards with 5 plays, boom, 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 and you're in the end zone, you know you have game breakers.
Exactly. DeSean Jackson is the junior, and thanks to Derek Jones's great talent, he's been getting double teamed much of the season, and he showed that he's going to have to be accounted for. He will get his moment in the spotlight next year when he becomes a senior. Well, the junior.
Yeah, you know, you take a look at Jackson. Yeah, he's a junior. But they have so many weapons. Then they have, you know, Terrence Austin. He's a sophomore. He's a guy that can also make plays, and they're learning from the other guys, and Derek Jones and some of the seniors on this football team. And so every year they bring in more guys who get it done for Raul Lara.
You know, Poly has been so dominant, and especially this is when they really turned it up. Those 5 years from 97 to 2001. Look at the records. They lost 2 games there, 1 tie. And you see over on the right, that was the national ranking. 66-2-1 from 97 through 2001.
and you say dynasty, that's what they have going here, and the dominance. And it starts with the coach, with Loyola, his ability to get the entire school behind, and then the students, and then the players, and everyone pulling in the same direction. And so you have to have that leadership at the coaching position, and these kids know that if you come in, you put in the work from the time you're a freshman in the off-season weight room and the conditioning program, you know what, it's going to yield forth good fruit, and that's a chance to play in the state championship game.
Sixth time in the last 7 years that Poly has been in this game. 14 CIF titles overall. Dakey again going to the air. Underneath, looked like it was knocked away at the last second by Rodney Van, the senior. Just got a hand on it. And it's incomplete, and it'll set up another third down.
Well, this ball goes to Johnson, number 19. He'll come in over the middle, but watch Van. See how he keeps his distance, then he gets a hand in at the very last minute, that right hand, to get the ball out. And that's just good coverage. He showed you good footwork, and then he showed the ability to stay off enough, not to get the pass interference penalty, but then the ability with the quick hands to get the ball and knock it down.
Next year, you'll see Rodney Van playing on Saturdays for the Bruins. Dakey going to keep it himself, spinning. We've got a flag. He's shy of the first down, but got to see what the laundry's all about.
Well, you saw Van in pass coverage this time. When Dakey took off, Van came flying up from the secondary to make a tackle. And when he hit him hard. You see, they're out now. You see Van, number 5. Look at him coming. Look at that hit. He hit him and stopped him right in his tracks.
And the penalty apparently was against Loyola because they have marched off 5 yards against the Cubs. So it's holding on the offense. Poly has refused, so the Cubs must once again punt. And Solomon, you said the key was to sustain long drives, and the Cubs have not been able to do it.
Well, whenever you have to send your defense out there after, only going 3 plays on offense, they're continuing to rack up more and more plays. You give more opportunities to the explosive Poly offense, and you know that the more opportunities they have, they're going to crease you. They're going to make plays tonight. The key is to limit those opportunities and try to keep your offense on the football field.
Rodney Van had a great series on defense, and Coach Lara has rewarded him by allowing him to return a punt here. And what a terrific punt it is by Mike Skor. Check that, make that Thomas Weber, who had a terrific punt.
Weber was able to put a foot into that one. And it was good coverage also because they weren't able to field the punt and then got the extra roll. And I guess this is what the defense want. You want this Poly offense pinned in their own end. They're going to start this drive from their 17, or I should say their 18-yard line.
A 46-yard punt by Thomas Weber, the freshman. And Cruz Parsons will come back out on the field with his Jackrabbit offense and try to build the lead. Just 37 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. 7-0. Long Beach Poly with the lead. They'll toss it. Anthony Terrell Baker spins his way close to the 25-yard line, but another flag. Cody Olson made the tackle on the play. John Stoneyall referee tonight, and the penalty is against Poly.
It's going to be a holding call against Poly. And this is where the defense now can really pin their ears back and really come, because you put a team in a 1st and 20 situation, you should be able to get off the field. You stop them on 3 plays, force them to punt. You get the ball with really good field position. Of course, you have to stop them. 1st and 20 increases your ability, at least on defense, to feel good about forcing them to punt the football.
So they march it back to the 10-yard line, sets up a 1st and 20. Cruz Parsons out in the flat. It's Deshaun Jackson stiff arming, and he picks up 10 yards on the play. Hillier was out in coverage. Matt Hillier, the senior, had a huge fumble recovery last week. We talk about Loyola and the inability to sustain drives on offense. But remember, a week ago, it was their defense that made a lot of plays, an interception return for a touchdown. So if you're looking for offense from Loyola, that may not necessarily be where the points come from.
Well, the defense, their ability to get those turnovers, shorten the field for the offense. Then obviously, if you can pick a pass off, take it to the house, that goes a long way in increasing your chances of winning the football game.
Set up the screen, and Chris Horrigy brings down Anthony Terrell Baker shy of the first down. So this will bring up a 3rd and about 3. And we have reached the conclusion of the first quarter. Our score is 7-0. The Jackrabbits of Long Beach Poly leading the Southern Section Championship.
Fajita.
And welcome back.
We had a steak fajita.
7-0 is our score.
What's going on?
Cruz Parsons comes out, big 3rd down play, and Poly is 0 for 2 on 3rd down so far. Deshaun Jackson very close to picking it up.
Well, you've noticed they're working out on the perimeter and trying to get those one-on-one matchups. If you can isolate Jackson against Abbott, you have to feel like he can win with his speed, or if it's Derek Jones against the other cornerback, Matt Appenfelder, you feel like in those one-on-one situations. So that's what Lara is trying to do. Just whip the ball out to his receiver, pick up the first down, but then if he can make one guy miss, he can take it to the house.
Exactly. Derek Jones actually making that grab for the first down. Hand off underneath. Little trap play. Cut inside. And it's Ryan Smith picking up 6 yards on the play.
Smith is another player that he really looks good. He'll play that fullback position, but he's a sophomore. And when his day comes, he'll be the tailback. But look at him. Very big, very strong, good vision, and able to find the hole and then advance the ball up the football field. So they have, as we said, so many weapons. Smith is sort of an afterthought because he's an underclassman. But believe me, he's a guy that plays very well. If he gets the ball, he can do some good things with it.
Yeah, he's their fullback, but they run a one-back offense most of the time. Play action for Cruz Parsons again, rolling out to buy time. Caught in stride. Beautiful pass by Cruz Parsons, and another first down for the Jackrabbits. And you can start to sense a little rhythm here, Solomon.
Yeah, you can see the rhythm, and they're starting to get those one-on-one matchups. Abbott is locked up against Jackson, but watch the natural motions of this catch. See the natural giftedness, the ability to come down with the ball. Yeah, it's a little high, but still he keeps his poise, and Jackson's able to go up and haul it in and make a really good catch for his quarterback, Cruz Parsons.
Parsons 6 of 7 for 86 yards and a touchdown, and again going to the air and again going deep, looking for Jones. He comes back, and that was sheer string. No, it's picked off. Intercepted by James Abbott. And this was the big play that Loyola was looking for.
Oh, Abbott, you have to give him credit because they've been picking on him. They scored the touchdown on him with Jackson, and then they've just been sort of isolating him. But this ball is just a little bit underthrown by Parson. And now watch Abbott. He stays with it. He stays on that upfield shoulder. Then he comes underneath because the ball's underthrown. It's not out in front of Jones. Jones has to try to fight back and get back to the ball. But Abbott does an even better job of playing receiver on the play and coming down with the football.
He had the stronger hands. There was a penalty on the play, holding on the return after the interception, so they are going to march off some yardage, and they'll spot it at just across the 15-yard line at the 16-yard line.
Give Abbott credit. This is a courageous young man. Yeah, he gives up a touchdown. Does he give up? No. He continues to fight, hanging there for his coach, Steve Grady, and then when they try him again, he makes the play for his football team.
So a big turnover for Loyola. Let's see if the offense can use it as a spark plug. They go to their big fullback, Hippolyte, and he explodes through the line, picks up 10 yards on the play.
Oh, this is just a quick-hitting play, and what they try to do is catch that Poly defensive line slanting one way, and then they just slash it back to George Hippolyte. See, he just cuts it back opposite of his center, and then he's able to find the soft spot in the defense, and that was a really nice run. A very good vision by Hippolyte, hitting it very quickly on the run play.
Hippolyte, a basketball player who won a CIF title last year with Omar Wilkes and that talented Cubs basketball program. Offset eye for Scott Dakey. He wants to go to the air. He wants to go deep. He's got a man, but he overthrew him. He was looking for Vallega. Check that, make it Jimmy Abbott, the guy who had the interception.
Yeah.
I guess you know he's got good hands.
Yeah, I think Abbott gave up a little bit. He sort of slowed down his play, and then it appears to be overthrown yet again by Dakey, who has overthrown his receivers so far in this game. But I thought that time Abbott kind of gave up a little bit. Then when he saw the ball being thrown, he tried to regain his speed, was not able to catch up to the ball, and it gave that pass the appearance of being overthrown. I think Abbott has to do a better job of staying in his route and staying alive for his quarterback, Scott Dakey.
Dakey's got a strong arm, but perhaps needs to settle down. Just 1 of 5, only an 8 yards so far. Complete out in the flat, and it's Hunter Armour who makes the grab, and they may get up across the 30-yard line before Byron Vallega makes the tackle.
Well, that's the kind of pass you talk about Dakey needing to settle down. This is how you do it. You just flip it out to your receiver on a quick hitch route over to Armour. Allow him to complete some of those short passes before you try to go deep up the football field. Try to get Dakey in a rhythm. You see Steve Grady's not happy with the way things go. And coaches get really excited and animated on the sideline when things aren't going the way they like.
So double tight end set, 3rd down, big play for Loyola. They'll send Ian Wilson in motion. Dakey rolling, firing deep. Again, it looks like he's overthrown his man, and he was looking for Jimmy Abbott, but he overthrew him by about 10 yards, Solomon.
Yeah, Dakey he's struggling right now to be really accurate with his passes. As you see Grady just encouraging his guys to be where they're supposed to be, and you have to wonder if the receivers are a little out of sync. But see, he could have led his receiver a little bit further across the field as opposed to throwing it more vertically, because Abbott was coming across the field, and that's where you have to lead your receiver. You see Grady's very animated over there saying, hey, we have to be where we're supposed to be so the quarterback can hit us with the football.
Terrific punt again by Weber. Jackson will return it, and maybe he has 4 yards on the return, just shy of the 40-yard line, and that's where Cruz Parsons and the Poly offense will go back at it. Long Beach Poly, talk about the contrast of schools. Long Beach Poly, over 4,600 students, large public high school, and Loyola, small private Catholic, all boys high school. We got a break in the action. 7-0, Poly on top. You're watching the CIF Southern Section Championship presented by Toyota. And welcome back, 7-0. There you see Steve Grady, his team down. 8:54 left to go until halftime. And Cruz Parson going to work were the Jackrabbits. They pitch it. It's Anthony Terrell Baker, and he gets 3 yards before Ian Wilson brings him down. We were talking in the break a little bit about the difference between Cruz Parsons' deep ball and the deep ball that's being thrown by Scott Dakey, Solomon. What's the difference?
Well, you notice the deep ball that Parsons was able to connect with Jones. He threw the ball up. Jones made a terrific adjustment on the ball because it had more air under it. The ball that Dakey's throwing right now is more of a line drive. More difficult, I think, for his receivers to make the adjustment. He's going to have to put, I think, a little bit more touch on his passes.
Parsons again, and he's picked off once again. Hunter Armour this time, but there's flags all over the place. And Hunter Armour brings it back to the 50-yard line, but that may be interference.
It may be interference because the intended receiver was hit prior to the arrival of the football. That's why a ball appeared to be thrown straight to the defensive player, Armour. You see number 1, that's Jackson. He was hit as he was trying to get across the middle of the field on the post route, and that's why the ball hit Armour right between the twos.
Let's see what John Stoney says, and yes, indeed, it is pass interference against Loyola.
I got to tell you, though, I think this ball would have been intercepted anyway. There was 3 defensive players for Loyola in the area where Parsons threw that ball. Only Jackson was the only offensive player for Poly in that area. I think there was a good chance the ball was going to be intercepted anyway.
So they will mark the ball at Loyola's 49, and Parsons goes back to work. Screen play, Anthony Terrell Baker. He's got some speed, cutting it back, still on his feet, inside the 35-yard line before Trayson Bragg brings him down.
We told you, Baker is the straw that stirs the drink for this offense. You can see why. When he touches the ball, he's electric. It's just a quick screen play, allowing him to get out behind that offensive line. Now watch him jitter. He's just able to make guys miss. And unless number 24, Trayson Bragg, brings him down, he could have taken that one to the house, and he's a threat to do that every time he touches the ball.
Not only is he physically talented, he's also the leader in the locker room as well. Broken play, flags thrown. And let's see what it's all about. Someone on Poly's offensive line may have jumped off too soon. That indeed is the case. And they will mark off some yardage, mark it back at the 49. So first down and 15 for Raul Lara, who played for Poly. I think he has a special place in his heart for Cruz Parsons, because Coach Lara was kind of an undersized football player himself. Parsons pumps, and again going deep. He's got his man in stride. Touchdown! Deshaun Jackson with his second touchdown catch of the night.
Oh, what a beautiful sales job by Deshaun Jackson. It's a hitch and go. Parsons helped sell it because he had the pump fake. See, watch the pump fake over here. See, you think he's going to throw it there. That's when Jim Abbott bit number 27. And Jackson sold the route because he stopped, sat down. See, watch him stutter his feet, and then he goes and takes off on Abbott. And it was just really good salesmanship by both the receiver, Deshaun Jackson, and Cruz Parsons with the pump fake that allowed the play to be effective and beat Jim Abbott on the play.
And now Jackson again will hold on to PAT score. Mike Sporer on to convert it. And between the uprights, and it's 14-0. The Jackrabbits of Poly out on top. And this is what we had talked about, the danger of the explosive offense of Long Beach Poly. Right now, let's visit with the third member of our crew, Steve Hartman, down on the sideline. Steve?
Huge sideline here for Loyola right now. They were talking about the team speed of Poly. No question we've seen that with Derek Jones and Deshaun Jackson. But the one thing that both coaches agreed upon tonight was the fact that this is the absolute perfect venue for a high school championship game here at the Home Depot Center, and it certainly has lived up to the hype. The fans on both sides are having a great time out here. Perfect night for football. Now, of course, Loyola trying to figure out an answer for Poly speed at wide receiver. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Steve. 14-0 our score. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Alan Massengale with the Toyota halftime program. He'll give us the update on the city section that's going on over at the Coliseum. And it's Jim Abbott returning it up the sideline, and he gets to about the 24-yard line before he's pulled down out of bounds. Ryan Smith makes the tackle. So now, Solomon, you're down 14-0. You're Steve Grady. What do you do?
Well, I think what you have to do is you settle your quarterback down, because you say, you know what, we've had the opportunities to hit on plays like what we've seen Poly do on the offensive side of the ball. You see their last 9 games in terms of how they outscored their opponent. So if you don't get going on offense in a hurry, this game could get away from you. And I think you have to start with Scott Dakey. He's had receivers open. He just has to settle down and be more accurate throwing the football.
So Dakey will go back to work. He's in a big hole, but there's plenty of time left. They go to the ground game. Jonathan Tua makes the tackle, and Poly, they're really coming now.
Well, yeah, and it is because they know that they really have their ears pinned back. You know that Loyola, they have to throw the football. And so you're going to pin your ears back. You're going to blitz the run. You're going to blitz the pass. You're going to blitz, period. Because you know you're in a position where you can gamble. You can take some chances when you have a 14-point lead.
We talk about Raul Lara the last time these two teams met in 2000 in the CIF championship. He was the defensive coordinator, and he loves to run those blitzes. Dakey again rolling out, looking, firing, complete. And it's Jim Abbott making the catch, and he gets hammered on the play by Rodney Van.
Well, the sooner Dakey begins to become more accurate throwing the football, the better their chances are of playing well in this game, because it all starts with him. He's on the move on this throw, but just a well-thrown ball by Dakey that time. He's able to get the ball to Abbott right between the 2 and the 7. See, he makes the catch, able to pick up the first down. So they can run more plays like this as Abbott now begins to warm up throwing the ball.
We talked about Dakey and the quarterback coach, Kenny O'Brien, who played in the NFL, as the Cubs go back to the ground game with Trayson Bragg. But Kenny O'Brien, who played for the New York Jets, was an outstanding quarterback at UC Davis. His son is actually a quarterback on the freshman team. He was the former quarterback coach at USC when Carson Palmer was there under Paul Hackett. So Kenny O'Brien, when Paul Hackett gets relieved, decides, hey, I got some time. Maybe I can help groom my son at Loyola. And he has been a big part of Scott Dakey's development, not only from a technique standpoint, but also his ability to teach him some leadership skills. Dakey, quick pass. Again, it's Abbott, but he can't hold on. In on the coverage was Byron Valega.
Oh, Valega timed this one up just perfectly. This ball is nearly caught by Abbott. It's a well-thrown ball that time, I think, by Dakey, who gets the ball to Abbott on the slant route, but Valega is able to come through with very good speed, strip that ball away from Abbott, preventing him from catching the football.
Valega's an interesting story. He's a senior, great athlete. Cal and Washington State are among the teams that are in the running to have him play on Saturdays next year. They'll send Bernstein in motion out of the shotgun. They fake. Again, underneath, it's Chris Johnson breaking a tackle out in open field. And a huge play before Vincent Joseph is able to knock him down out of bounds. And Loyola showing some life.
Well, it's effective because the play was well designed. They catch him out. See, they bring the receiver underneath, and then that's where Johnson's able to get underneath the defense. It's well designed because they had the motion. They caught Polley out of position. Johnson slashes underneath, is able to make some yards after the catch and try to get this offense going.
So now in Polley territory, 5:03 on the clock, and the Cubs are threatening. Hippolyte up the middle, breaking a tackle, and he's got another first down. Rodney Van again making the tackle.
And Darren, all you need is one play to light a spark, and then that spark becomes an inferno if you can create a touchdown and get back into this football game. Of course, there's plenty of time. 14-point lead isn't much, but they get the ball to the big fullback Hippolyte and watch him break tackles as he gets it to the second level and into the secondary.
Well, we've got a timeout on the field. The Cubs are threatening 14-0. Our score here at the CIF Southern Section Championship, presented by Toyota. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the CIF Southern Section Division I Championship, presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers, Darren Horton, Solomon Wilcox, and the Loyola Cubs threatening against Polley. Dakey going to roll out, buy himself some time, feeling some pressure. Now he'll keep it. Now he throws it up. He was looking for Chris Johnson. A little ad-lib there.
Yeah, he ad-libbed a little too much. I think he was past the line of scrimmage when he decided to throw the football.
Yeah, there's the flag.
It looked like a very good move to begin with. Watch the pump fake here. He's able to elude the defender and then duck underneath. Now he should just take off and run with it. But that's why he did, because he saw Rodney Van, I believe, come up.
That was Lorenzo Bursey.
Yeah, Lorenzo Bursey, who
on,
absolutely came up and just laid a lick on Dakey.
So 4:49 to go. In case you just joined us, it started with a 7-yard touchdown pass to Deshaun Jackson. and the penalty will go off against Loyola. Again, a pass thrown beyond the line of scrimmage, so they'll mark off some yardage. But it started with a 7-yard touchdown, 7-0, and then Jimmy Abbott comes up with a big interception, but Loyola was not able to capitalize on it. And then Deshaun Jackson with a 39-yard touchdown reception, and that's where we are now. 14-0 our score here. 4:49 left until halftime. Dakey, you see the numbers, 4 of 10. He's starting to settle down, though. Dakey back to pass. They set up the screen play. It's Hippolyte, and he appears to have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. You know, Solomon, you often hear NFL quarterbacks talk about getting hit. That somehow settles them in. Do you think that Scott Dakey is starting to settle down after he seems like he's feeling a little bit more comfortable as this game goes on?
Well, he has been hit by Van Rodney and Bursey, also the other safety. Both safeties have had their turns putting a lick on Dakey, but yeah, I think he is beginning to settle down. And just you know, as the game goes on, things begin to slow down. You see things a little bit more clear, and then you begin to make plays.
Out of the shotgun this time for Dakey. Fires one too high. He was looking for Matt Appenfelder. So this will bring up a big 3rd down play for the Cubs of Loyola. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, the Toyota halftime program. Alan Massengale in our studios in Hollywood will get us up to date on all the sports action that's going on around the country. You know, a lot of people care about that Laker game.
You see this throw here, just sails high on Dakey, and as I was watching his technique there, he's not stepping through and throwing off the front foot. He's sort of falling back. When you throw off the back foot, the ball's going to sail high on you, so he's going to have to follow through with this technique and throw off his front leg.
3rd down and 10 out of the shotgun. Dakey with some time. He's got a man. It's Benjamin Bernstein, the senior, for the touchdown.
And I watched Dakey the entire time, and he actually stepped up, threw the ball off his front leg. Excellent technique. Therefore, he has really good accuracy. Now, watch him throw this ball. He comes back to his right, and see how he throws off the front leg, and the ball is, boom, right there on the money. Just over the hand of the defender there, right? Look at that. Just a beautiful throw, a beautiful catch by Bernstein for the touchdown. Loyola finally gets on the board, and they needed it big time.
Thomas Weber on for the PAT. Through the uprights. And the Cubs strike back. They are within 7 points now. 14-7 our score here at the Home Depot Center.
Well, Dakey, you can tell he's starting to settle down. As we talked about it, we could see him growing ever more comfortable in the pocket, and that time he went through his progression, came all the way on the left side, read the defense perfectly, had enough time in terms of the offensive line providing the protection for him to come back over to his right and find Bernstein in the corner where he's able to get it into the end zone.
A 9-play, 75-yard drive took 3 minutes, 22 seconds, and again the 16-yard touchdown to Benjamin Bernstein.
Now that's the kind of play that will give Loyola new life, and they believe now that they can move the ball. I think they've weathered the storm early on, and if Dakey can maintain his composure and maintain some consistency, I think it's going to bode well for their football team, and then they have to believe that they can hang tough with this Poly team that's so explosive on the offensive side of the ball.
All the more remarkable is that's just the 3rd catch this season for Benjamin Bernstein. It's Derek Jones on the return. They're setting up the wall down the right side. He's got a little space, and finally the Cubs able to make the tackle. Matt Gaxola. A 26-yard return by the All-American Derek Jones. Tomorrow night there is yet another exciting high school championship game. Mission Viejo will be battling Hart High for the CIF Southern Section Division II football championship televised by Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings for the start time. That's going to be a terrific game as well, Solomon.
You remember Kyle Bowler, a guy, a former Hart graduate, played at Cal Berkeley, now with the Baltimore Ravens. I get to see him calling games, doing the Baltimore Ravens game. He's always asking me, how's Hart doing? And I told him they're doing pretty well.
They're always there. Pass out in the flat. Anthony Terrell Baker crosses the 30-yard line, but the Cubs defense makes the stop. Matt Hillier out on the coverage to bring him down.
Now, I really think Poly's going to have to do some things where they're getting the ball out on the perimeter, and now Loyola, their defenders are fast-flowing, getting to the outside. I think they're going to have to create some plays that allow them to get it over on the perimeter and then try to cut it back against the grain, because right now, this Loyola defense, they're playing very fast, trying to get over to the perimeter to negate that speed that Poly has on their offensive side.
Parsons, screen play out in the flat, and a great tackle by Matt Appenfelder.
Appenfelder, he knows where that ball's going. We said they're getting it over on the perimeter, and that's exactly where that ball went. Appenfelder, watch him comes up. He'll come up and make the tackle on Jones. Look at this. Keeps his head up, able to cut the legs out from up under Jones. Good open field tackle.
The defensive coordinator, Mike Gilhooly, you know, Steve Grady gave him so much credit last week for that goal line stand, which gets the Loyola Cubs into this championship game. So two receivers out to the far right side for Cruz Parsons. The junior goes back to pass, sets up the screen. Anthony Terrell Baker, and a flag is down as he's brought down, picks up 2 yards, but it's Appenfelder again with the tackle.
And you notice, Baker, that screen play was designed to go over the middle. And he knows this defense is slowing fast, and then he'll cut it back. And only Appenfelder is there to prevent him from taking this one up the sideline and going all the way to the house for a touchdown.
And Hillier was applying some pressure, and a penalty against Poly is declined. It was holding, and so Poly will have to come on to punt.
And you can sense the momentum shifting in this game right now, Darren. After the long drive and the touchdown by Loyola, their defense comes out. They're frothing at the mouth. They force a 3-and-out by Poly's offense. The first time they force them to go 3-and-out and punt today. They'll get the ball back, and they should get excellent field position and see if their offense could do something with it.
Mike Spoor on the punt. He was getting some pressure. This is Jim Abbott, and he fair catches it at his own 27-yard line. So with 1 minute and 57 seconds left to go until halftime, we will see again Scott Dakey coming on, and he looks so impressive on that last drive.
He really looked good on that drive, and I think it's a matter of consistency, because there are times when he throws the ball off his back leg and then the ball sails high over the arms of his intended receivers, and another time where he really does everything right. And I'm sure Ken O'Brien is reminding him of those skills and those fundamentals on the sideline, saying, hey, you just settle down and go through your progression, you know, you'll be more consistent in terms of your accuracy.
Johnson in motion for Appenfelder. They go on the ground. It's Trayson Bragg dancing, and he gets tackled at the 35-yard line by Lorenzo Bercy.
Bragg's left bodies on the ground. I heard people flying around trying to get to him. And look at that move. Look at that move. He's cutting it back, and he's able to make guys miss. So much of the talk coming into this game was about Anthony Terrell Baker. But Braggs, he has some quicks of his own.
He's just a junior. Last year he played as a sophomore. They had such high expectations for him coming into the season. Dakey again, play action, has some time, now feels the pressure, rolls, buys himself some time, and now he'll throw it away.
Yeah, that was a smart play. And the pass rush was coming for Poly. They were getting penetration into the face of Scott Dakey, and he showed great mobility. I think good presence also to elude the defenders, and watch the pressure coming right up the middle. See there, the pocket collapse, and then he escapes over to his right, still keeping his head up, trying to find someone open, and then doing the smart thing by throwing the ball out of bounds and not turning the ball over.
So 3rd down and 2. Again, 1 minute and 11 left to go. 14-7 Poly with the lead. Loyola is 2 of 5 on 3rd down in this game. Looks like a blitz. They hand off Bragg. Left side, fumbles, and it looks looks like Loyola's going to catch a tremendous break as Steve Westhoff pounces on the ball.
Wow. And we talked about turnovers at the top of the game, that, you know, it's the great equalizer. Braggs put this one on the ground, and there's no one within 20 yards of the ball except Westhoff.
Marcus Wright, I believe, forced the fumble.
Marcus Wright got the hit on Bragg, but look at this ball. There's no one else there, and he's able to get the ball. Westhoff, he's one of the offensive linemen. See, that ball stays on the ground for quite a while.
Dakey out of the shotgun, out in the flat, a little bit too high. They wanted interference. He was looking for Jim Abbott, but that ball was too high. So it stops the clock with 40 seconds, and we're getting a smattering of boos from the Cubs.
That's a risky throw. When you're on the far hash and you roll out that way, then you stop and try to come back all the way on the far sideline. That ball's in the air a long time, and Byron Vallega, he leads the team with 3 interceptions, nearly had his 4th.
So 40 seconds left. Second down, 10 yards to go.
And that's what the fans were reacting to, that little bump there. But had that ball been thrown low and inside, I believe Vallega would have been able to intercept it.
Dakey 5 of 15 for 75 yards in this game. They send Benjamin Bernstein in motion. Here's Dakey rolling out once again, looking upfield. Nearly intercepted, probably all over the play. It was Vincent Joseph who was just couldn't catch the ball.
Yeah, Joseph, I tell you, it was great coverage that time on Matt Appenfelder. He comes a long way and is able to dive inside. He did a good job of getting both hands on it. Would have liked to have made the interception, but he was certainly able to knock it down. He had to dive for that one and leave his feet. What a player he is. He's a sophomore, has 2 interceptions this year, and I think he shows great poise to be an underclassman playing in the big game like what he's playing in tonight. Still able to stay with Appenfelder all the way across the field in man coverage and make a play on the ball.
So here it is, 3rd down and 10. 33 seconds remaining until halftime. Dakey, and he's going to be sacked. The Poly defense sniffed that one out, and it was Marcus Fennell, the first man in, to bring him down. So the Poly defense comes up with a big play.
Yeah, Fennell was able to get in there. So are the other defenders. Look at the pocket just collapsed this time. There's one, and then now the second guy is able to get him. And look at the strength of Dakey. He's almost broke the tackle that time and almost came out of it.
Don't forget, coming up in 18 seconds, the Toyota halftime report. Our Alan Massengale and Pat McAnally at the studios in Hollywood. They're going to get you up to date on what's going on in the world of sports, including the city section. City section taking place tonight at the Coliseum. And what a season Venice has had. 13-0 this year, and they're taking on Carson tonight. And Carson, they have 10 championships. They're a traditional power. Something about the area down in Long Beach, Carson, they put out some pretty good football players.
I think throughout the Southland, you have a number of programs that rank nationally. It's the really good coaching, and I think it starts from your little league all the way up, and the coaching that they get at such an early level, and then the training programs when they hit the high school campuses, and they start training these kids from the time they're freshmen, and then by the time they're ready to play, they're getting it done and getting it done at a high level.
Thomas Weber on to punt. Poly brings the pressure, and Weber going to just punt it towards the sideline, and Deshaun Jackson's going to take it, going to pick it up, and they knock him out of bounds. That's interesting. I was going to ask you, Solomon, would you punt that out of bounds with a guy back there with the speed of Deshaun Jackson?
I think they did the right thing. You punt it right over on the line, close to out of bounds, and then he almost caught the ball and stepped out of bounds himself. I think it was an excellent punt. It's what that angle punt, and then you shorten the field. Don't allow his speed to work from sideline to sideline.
So 8 seconds, again, coming up at halftime, the Toyota halftime report. Poly with a 14-7 lead here at the Home Depot Center. Beautiful facility to see a high school football game. I mean, this is beautiful, Solomon.
Yeah, they're going to take a knee right here and take it in at halftime, 14-7. But your wonderful facility, a great place for a football game, particularly a big game like this.
So we are at halftime. 14-7 is our score. Long Beach Poly with a 7-point lead. They exploded, took a 14-0 lead, but Loyola has answered with a touchdown pass to Benjamin Bernstein, and we're at halftime with a score of 14-7. And there you take a look at Scott Dakey, boy. You could tell he's been in a war. They'll go to halftime. They will receive the ball in the second half. Let's send things down to Steve Hartman. Steve?
All right, we have Coach Lara here from Long Beach Poly. And, Coach, it's looked like you were in control 14-0, and all of a sudden Loyola came back. How important was that defensive stop right before halftime?
Well, it's big. It's important for us. There's no doubt about it. But, you know, again, this is a typical Loyola Poly game. It's going to be like this, and hopefully, you know, we go inside and go back to some of the stuff that was working for us and maybe do some other stuff they haven't seen. But, you know, it's just a traditional Poly Loyola game. That's all it is.
You talked about your team speed before the game. Are you going to be able to utilize it a little bit more here coming up in the second half?
Well, we're going to try. I think they had trouble covering our receivers, so it's just a matter of executing, and if we do that, I think we're going to be all right. But, you know, again, them Cubs are tough. I know that. All right, Coach, all the best in the second half. All right, that's Coach Lara there of Long Beach Poly. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Alan Massengale and Pat McAnally. They're going to be in our KCAL studios in Hollywood with the Toyota Halftime Report. We'll be back with more.
Double tight end set, and it's DeSean Jackson making the grab for the first touchdown of the game. Poly takes a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, they jumped out there like that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Toyota Halftime. I'm Alan Massengale, along with Pat McAnally, former NFL star. I hope you enjoyed the first half. The CIF Division I championship game between Long Beach Poly and Loyola, and it's a big night, win or lose, but down there, Pat, because this is something you think about the rest of your life.
You know, and you're right about win or lose. We lost in the Super Bowl, and we don't cry over it. I still consider it the highlight, and if I could have played in a championship game in high school, I'd have never forgotten it.
That's right. Cincinnati, though, that was your problem. See, you played for the Bengals. You can't win the Super Bowl.
They have a winning record this year.
Yeah, I know. They look really good, but we're talking about high school right now. Let's take a look at some of the highlights, Pat. Loyola's Steve Grady trying to get his Cubs going in the first quarter, but Poly's on the offense. Cruz Parsons, this is going to hurt. This is a big fling, 45 yards to Derek Jones.
Look like Marvin Harrison. Is that a great catch or what?
That's a great arm that kid has, too. This set up Parsons to number 1, DeSean Jackson, 7 yards, 7-0 Poly.
And we expected to see this. Poly with the wide open offense, the receivers, and throwing deep.
This is the same combinations, Pat. This is just go get it, huh? Just go. 14-0 Jackrabbit, so it looked like they were getting it going. Now, Scott Dakey, we're going to talk about this, had kind of a rough first half, but he's got a lot of talent. Looking for Benjamin Bernstein. And that's it. Benjamin Bernstein, 16-yard catch, 14-7. And they're telling me there's close to 10,000 people down at the Home Depot Center. What a thrill to be able to go to a fine facility like that, one of the best in the world. And they got a good game. Now, first of all, from what you see, how do you settle down the Loyola quarterback? He's overthrown some guys you were talking about, but he's like I said, he's got them in the ball game.
Yeah, I think Loyola came in with a great game plan because they're known for running, churning out, possession-type team. They went to a lot of play action. They had 3 receivers open deep. Difference in the game right now is Poly hit their 2 receivers when they were open deep, and they missed 3. So I think, and now they've scored. Quarterback's getting more confidence, and they can beat them. I mean, Poly's got a great defense, 14 points in 3 games they've given up, but they have got their receivers open.
Yeah, let's look at what's happening here. You know, he's flinging it down the field just a little bit too high. Now, you used to tell me that a quarterback, when he's throwing it high, means he's nervous. He's putting a little bit too much on it.
Well, it's 10,000 people playing the best team in the state, probably. So, but I think now that he's settled down, I think Ken O'Brien as a quarterback coach will really help him here in the second half.
They got hit pretty hard right there. We thought maybe he should run with it, but what do we know? We didn't know until we saw that angle, and he got kind of smushed on that play right there. He was doubled up a little bit. Now, what do you think? Well, first of all, I think that Poly, just my opinion, they're just going to keep doing what they do best, which is use their athletes and quick hits and things like that. Loyola, what do they have to do to get to even this game up?
Well, I think if they can come out in the second half and they can succeed in moving the chains with some running plays, which they're known for, then get to the play action, settle down, and hit those receivers, they're the type of team that can beat Poly. First of all, I thought it'd be a good game because Poly waited a whole year to beat Mater Dei last week, and it's always tough
to come back off that emotional win and get it going again. All right, time for Pat and I to take a break. When we come back, we're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to go back out to the Home Depot Center where Steve Hartman standing by with a very special couple of guests. So stay with us as the Toyota Halftime Show continues after this. Nothing like high school football. We all were there at one time. Is there any better name than the Jackrabbits? I love that name. Poly's up 14-7. As you could see, with a long way to go in this game, Loyola had some great chances and missed out, like Pat was talking about. Some of those plays that hit it, they could have had 28 points because they had the guys back there, right?
And even the second touchdown pass, they'd had the interception called back, play before.
Okay, also roaming the sidelines at the Toyota Halftime Show, Steve Hartman is down there at the Home Depot Center. Steve, you got a couple of special guests, I understand, right?
Well, I certainly do, Alan. I tell you what, you can't beat the atmosphere here tonight for this great game between Loyola and Long Beach Poly. And speaking of Long Beach Poly, I want to bring in a couple of guys here that 2 years ago led Long Beach Poly to a championship, and now they're part of the #1 team in the country. To see Trojans, speaking of defensive back Darnell Bing, and of course the big offensive tackle Winston Justice. And first of all, Darnell, seem a little strange to be out here on the sidelines for a high school game when you're playing for the #1 college team in the country?
Just a little bit, you know, but I just came out here to support the team, you know, because I was here in the same spot one time in my life, you know. I just hope the best for them this season.
Now, what about coming up here for the Rose Bowl? Everyone's been talking about how you guys got the short end of the stick with the BCS, but are you guys focused now on Michigan?
Yeah, we are, you know. We just want to finish our season with the win, you know, and hopefully become the national champions.
Well, no doubt the offense is a big part of it at USC as well. And Winston, how you feel to be out here with the Jackrabbits, and what do you make of this first half so far?
It feels good to be out here again, and Poly's doing a good job. You know, I think we're going to come out with a win today.
Now, what about Michigan right now? This is probably going to be the best team you've played all season long. Have you gotten past the disappointment of the BCS? Are you focused now?
Yeah, I think the team has got past that, and, you know, we're worrying about Michigan right now. And, you know, we still have a chance to be co-national champions, so I think we're looking forward to that.
All right, well, Winston and Darnell, all the best. Good to see you out here on the sidelines. You can see they're all supporting their Poly teammates out here. Looking forward to a great second half. Back to you, Alan.
Okay, and Pat McAnally was pointing out the #1 graduate is in his mind of all time from Cal Poly.
Forget all those football players. Cameron Diaz.
Go along with that, Cameron Diaz. The Toyota Halftime Show's back after this. We're going to talk good sports with the man here. Cameron.
And welcome back to the CIF Division I Championship. Our score at halftime, the Long Beach Poly Jackrabbits 14, the Loyola Cubs 7. Darren Horton, Solomon Wilcox with you. We talked about the great athletic ability of Long Beach Poly, and they exploded in that first quarter. Deshaun Jackson, the junior, doing all the damage.
It was Deshaun Jackson. Everyone thinks Derek Jones is going to be the go-to guy in this offense. So far tonight in the first half, it has been Deshaun Jackson who's hooked up with his quarterback, Cruz Parsons, and he's been able to score both touchdowns so far here in this game. He got loose early in the game, of course, when he beat Jim Abbott down in the corner of the end zone. He's the guy that really has the hot hand. You see him getting the first touchdown here, and then it's the pump fake, and then the stutter and go. He's able to get on top of Jim Abbott once again for the second touchdown of the day, and he gets it done.
Everybody doubted him. And I kept on telling people, I don't know why you doubt him, just because he's 5'10" or whatever, you know. Everybody wants these 6'4" and 6'5" quarterbacks. He's done a phenomenal job. The thing that he does so great is he gets into my head, and he knows pretty much what I want. And so when he goes out there, he sees it, he does it, and it's great.
a classic extension of the coach, Cruz Parsons. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Cruz Parsons doesn't have the height. He's only 5'10". Scott Dakey is the guy that everybody's talking about coming into this game in terms of the physical talents, the size and the ability, the Division I scholarship to go to Virginia. But it's the little guy who has gotten it done here in the first half.
And Parsons has been accurate with the football. He has thrown one interception, but for the most part, he's been able to throw those deep balls and allow his receivers, Jones and Jackson, to adjust to those balls, and they're perfectly placed up the field. He knows they have the speed to go get it, so he's putting it in an area where they can make the adjustment and make a play on the football and take it to the house, get it into the end zone. Raul Lara, he really likes the fact that his quarterback, Cruz Parsons, right now is controlling the game, managing it right now in this game.
So you're down 14-7. What do you do? For the answer to that, we send things downstairs to Steve Hartman.
All right, guys, I have Loyola coach here, Steve Grady. And, Coach, you were down 14-0. You told me before the game about the team speed of Long Beach Poly, and they showed it to you with their great wide receivers, but you did get the touchdown back. Is this sort of a sign of your team, the resilience of your team?
I hope so. I think, we can score if we get a little bit of time. I think Scott missed a couple open receivers early, but he's settled down a little bit now. They're an awfully good team, and we're holding our breath every time they get the ball, but that touchdown was big. It put us back in the game and gave us a little bit of confidence, and we get the ball second half. We'll see what happens.
Because of what your team has gone through, rallying from that 3-3 start to get here today, does it give you a lot of confidence? Because you said this team really achieved more than you even thought before the season began.
Well, certainly they've achieved more than what we thought. To get to this game is an accomplishment that very few thought we would get to. But last 7 weeks they've been playing good football. They're confident. They feel they can play with these people. And, so far we've been playing with them. Let's hope the second half's the same.
All right, good luck, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, Coach Grady, he's ready with Loyola, ready for the second half, guys.
Thank you very much, Steve. And again, we are at halftime, 14-7, Loyola. They've been in this position before. Certainly they can come back. They have a lot of confidence, Solomon.
Yeah, Steve Grady is the reason why they have that confidence. I would be remiss if I didn't fulfill my promise that I made to Coach Grady. He told me, he said, hey, be sure to tell my son, Brian Grady, give him a hello. A special hello goes out to Brian Grady from his dad, Steve. So, Brian, we hope you're watching. Your dad wanted to make sure that we gave you a hello.
Nice balance between the football, obviously a head coach worried about winning a football game, but then also a dad and wants to make sure he greets his son. As we mentioned at the top of the game, Loyola won the toss, opted to defer, opted to receive here in the second half, and it's Matt Appenfelder and James Abbott back to receive, and let's see if the Cubs can continue some of the momentum that they had going in that second quarter.
Well, I've always said that the first possession of the second half, I think it's a really important one. It lets you know you come out, you're ready to play, and you should be able to make those adjustments work for you.
Jim Abbott crossing the 20-25, trying to get outside, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 32-yard line, and that is where the Cubs offense will start. Let's take a look at the Toyota halftime stats, Solomon. What sticks out?
I think the thing is you could see the overall total yards, 172 for Long Beach Poly, but then the fact that Loyola isn't that far behind at 144. Everyone talks about, those explosive weapons on offense. Well, Loyola's doing good, and we said that they needed to dominate the time of possession. You see, 12:35 for Loyola. They lead in time of possession. That bodes well for them.
One of the key factors that we talked about, Solomon, before this game. So first down and 10, they'll send Matt Appenfelder in motion, and they hand it off to Appenfelder, and he's immediately brought down by Lorenzo Bercy. So a pickup of 3 yards on the play.
I thought you was going to say Appenfelder has been apprehended. And that's exactly what happened. It was a well-designed play on the toss trap. It was a sweep over to the left side. Tried to get that fast-flowing defense going one way, then cut it back the other way, looking to break one off on the backside.
The Poly defense has given up 7 points in 8 quarters of football coming into this game. And now they've given up 7 points so far. Hunter Armour makes the grab, and they pick up 3 more yards. Vincent Joseph making the tackle on the play.
Well, I tell you, Joseph is a physical defensive back. He's an underclassman. He's a sophomore, but he hits like a hammer. Yeah, that was a very good tackle. Yeah, they catch the ball in front of you, but you have to make them pay for it. Let them know that you're going to catch the ball in front of me. We're going to deliver a lick. That's what Lara wants from his defensive backs.
We see Coach Grady going out in those flats trying to get his guys into the open space as well. Chris Johnson in motion. Dakey calls the signals. They go to the ground, and Trayson Bragg is very close to a first down, Solomon.
Well, this one's going to depend on the spot. I think he's going to have it, but they may have to bring the chains out to measure this one.
No, they give it to him.
Yeah.
So this is how we expected the game to go for Loyola.
Well, they do the right thing. You know, early here in the second half, they are able to pick up the first down, keep the chains moving. You don't want to go 3 and out. You, again, give your defense some time to rest, but you have to be able to sustain drives on offense.
4 receivers for Dakey. He's already completed passes to 5 different receivers, and they go to their big fullback, Hippolyte. And he explodes for 20-plus yards before Lorenzo Bercy is able to bring him down.
And on their last scoring drive, it started with a play from Hippolyte. This same kind of run action. Watch him cut it back off the center. And that's what he's been able to do for the entire ball game. This has been the one play that the Poly defense has not been able to stop, and that's that quick dive, cutting it back off the center, Alvarenga. He gets the block, and then Hippolyte reads him, cuts it back, and he's able to get it to the second level.
So the chains moved inside the 40 at the 38-yard line for Dakey. Dakey with some time, looking up the sideline. Incomplete. He was looking for Hunter Armour, but again, just put a little bit too much on the ball.
And many of these passes are just beyond the hand of the receiver, and this is the ball. See, watch how flat it comes in. You drop this one with a little bit more air under it, and I think Armour's going to be able to run and adjust to it. Allow him to run under the ball as opposed to having the ball come in flat where it's either a hit or a miss. The ball's thrown on a line drive that time by Dakey.
14-7 our score. Dakey, hands off. Hippolyte again, left tackle, and he's got another first down before he's brought down by Byron Polega.
Boy, Hippolyte, he's an impressive looking player. He's a junior, but look how big he is, but he still hits the hole with great acceleration, still able to make defenders miss in the open field. And so he's big, but he has nifty footwork. You can tell he still has excellent speed to get the ball to the second level. When you can make a player like Van Rotney miss, because he's an excellent tackler coming up from that safety position, you know you have an athlete at fullback in George Hippolyte.
They're going to measure to see if he got enough for the first down. It appeared as though that he got it, and it looks like it may be a couple inches shy.
You see 8.7 yards a pop tonight on 7 carries.
Wow.
For Hippolyte, so he's getting it done for Steve Grady.
About 2 inches shy of the first downs, so this will bring up a second down in inches for the Cubs. Hippolyte, a converted basketball player, talked about the fact that he won a championship with the Cubs last year on that great team they had with Omar Wilkes, who's now playing at the University of Kansas. Had a chance to see Omar a little bit last weekend at the Wooden Classic. So third down conversions, and Loyola's been 50% on that on the night so far. I formation, Dakey, he's going to dive across, and he should get it easily.
Well, Steve Grady has to feel really good about what his offense is able to do on this first possession in the second half. They're able to move the ball. I think credit has to be given. Look at the push this offensive line is getting. And this is what we talked about also at the top, is they're a physically strong football team, and their intensity mirrors what Steve Grady brings to the table. We saw him in the first half, how animated he was on the sideline. He brings a certain passion to the game, and his players, they bring that passion onto the football field. All starts with this senior-laden offensive line.
Yeah, Chris Harrigy, William Alvarenga, Westhoff, Mark Gray, the captain, and Ivan Nicholson up front for the Cubs. They go back to the ground. This time they go Trayson Bragg, and Jonathan Tu'ua makes the tackle for Long Beach Poly. 14-7 our score. here in the third quarter. Long Beach Poly with the lead.
And now Poly's defense is finding what it's like to be on the football field for, you know, a number of different plays. When you, on defense, when you're getting into that 10th or 11th play of the drive, you begin to suck wind. And now when you begin to slow down, the offense, they pick up speed and they're able to take advantage of the fact that you're a little bit tired at this point.
Not to mention the Poly linemen go both ways, so fatigue will be a factor towards the end of this game. Dakey again going to the air, underneath, and he underthrew his man. He was looking for Jim Abbott, but threw it behind him a little bit.
I think Abbott actually had this ball and wasn't able to hold on to it. You know, I think Dakey put the ball where his guy could catch it. It hit him in the hands. See, watch Abbott. See, he has this ball, and he drops it. That ball was his. You got to hold on to that one.
You know, Byron Valega probably is going to say, I had a little something to do with that.
I'm sure he would take credit. Valega, really good cover corner. But that time, Abbott had a chance to come away with the reception.
Yeah, Valega's their lockdown guy. So Loyola on third down. They're 5 of 9 on converting it so far this game. Dakey rolling out, looking upfield. He's got a man. Touchdown! Matt Appenfelder hauls it in, and we're PAT away from being tied at 14.
And Darren, we told you that if Scott Dakey was just to put a little air under the ball, allow the receiver to adjust to it instead of throwing it on the line, he would complete more passes. And that's exactly what he did on that pass to Appenfelder. Now watch the throw. See, it has more arc on it as opposed to throwing it on line. See, he puts air under this ball. Now watch the ball just drops in there ever so nicely where Appenfelder can run under it and make the touchdown reception.
So Thomas Weather on to put it through, and we're tied at 14. The CIF Southern Section Championship presented by Toyota. It's Dakey to Appenfelder to tie it up. The Cubs with a touchdown. And welcome back to the Home Depot Center. 14-14, a 10-play, 68-yard drive, and it's Appenfelder, Matt Appenfelder, with a 26-yard touchdown reception and a terrific kick. And they will down it in the end zone. There you see Scott Dakey. And you see that guy on the right, Solomon?
Yeah, right there.
That is Ken O'Brien. He's a former quarterback. I grew up in New York City, and I watched this guy play. He was a terrific young quarterback. And he is the quarterback coach, and he's really helping Scott Dakey develop. And you talk about the ability to throw the ball in the bucket.
Oh, yeah. Ken O'Brien, he can get it done.
Anthony Terrell Baker off the right tackle, picks up 5 yards. There you see a better look at him.
He's doing a good job, and I'm sure at halftime he reminded Scott Dakey that, hey, you have to throw the ball with a little bit more touch, allow our guys to adjust to it, and we'll make plays, because they've been able to get open against this secondary for Long Beach Poly, and they've missed on some of those passes early in the ball game. And I really felt that if Dakey could begin to hit on some of those passes, not only could they get back into the game, they have a good chance of hanging tough. Even Raul Lara said, hey, this is a good Loyola team, and they're going to get back in it. He expected it.
Cruz Parsons rolling out. He wants to keep it. He can run it as well. Spins at the 30-yard line, very close to a first down. Chris Harrigy brings him down, makes the tackle.
And now it's up to Cruz Parsons to bring his team back, give his defense some rest, try to sustain a drive, and that's what he's going to do. It's just a fake to Baker, and then he rolls out to his left, and then he has the ability to cut it back. But he's a quick guy, not very big, quick enough to get outside and then be able to do some damage on the perimeter. But he's going to now have to show that leadership and get his team down the football and try to give his defense some rest and put more points on the board for his football team.
26 touchdown passes this year for Cruz Parsons, but as you mentioned, not only a good arm, he can also run it. And wow, the physical play of that Cubs defense coming up big. Number 44, Matt Hillier, along with Ian Wilson, making the play. They lose a yard to bring up 2nd and 11.
And this is something that Poly, I think, has struggled with the entire game. We said it at the top. It would be impossible to run the ball inside against this Loyola defense. They're too strong at the point of attack, and for most of the game, Raul Lara has elected to try to test the perimeters of this defense where he could get his speed on the outside. That time, they elected to try to run the ball in between the tackles. You see why they haven't done it a lot, because there's no doing it. That door was slammed shut from the time Baker got the football.
It's interesting the contrast. We've seen Hippolyte for the Cubs going up the middle, a bigger, stronger back. Here's Parsons rolling out, buying himself some time. Cuts it back the other way. He's got blockers. Crossing the 30. Not a north-south play, a lot of east-west, and he only ends up picking up 2 yards, and it will set up a 3rd down and long.
Well, what Loyola is doing now on this side, the reason why his receivers aren't open, they jammed him up at the line. It threw off the timing of the route. Parsons is forced to eat the football because none of his receivers can get open. They're electing, Loyola is on the defensive side, to play more zone defense. They were playing man defense in the first half where the Poly receivers were able to get open, and now Steve Grady has switched to more of a zone defense in that secondary, and they're doing a better job of covering up the receiver.
3rd down and 9 for Parsons. Back to pass once again. Has some time. Now he'll keep it, but he will not get the 1st down. He was mugged by Chris Horrigy. And the Poly Jackrabbits will have to punt.
Wow. And it's the zone defense that Cruz Parsons. He's not able to make the adjustment and find an open receiver. And that's going to be up to the coach. Raul Lara is going to have to design some things to get open, because right now they've switched to that zone defense and they're doing a good job of covering things up.
So Mike Spoor on to punt it away for the Jackrabbits. Here comes the pressure, and he gets off a beautiful punt. But it takes a bounce, and did it touch one of the Cubs?
I believe it did.
Yes, it did.
I believe it did. An unlucky bounce of the ball. It was a short punt, and it hit the leg of one of the Cubs as they were running down the field. And watch this. See, it's so short, and that's where Abbott has to ask his guys, Casey Frost, to get away from the ball, because Frost had his back to the ball. He couldn't tell that it was a short punt, and the ball fell so short that it hit Frost on the back of his leg, and luckily for Poly, they were alert and fell on the football.
What a bad bounce for the Cubs of Loyola after stopping Poly on 3 plays. A turnover, Solomon, and now Poly in business in the Cubs territory. Parsons going to roll out. Has time, wants Jarek Jones deep and knocked away. What a game Jim Abbott is having.
Abbott, he's been beat for a couple of touchdowns, but guess what? He's come up big with an interception, and he's made another play here. And all it is he's rolling over the top of Jones, who's running up the sideline. See the double covers there on Jones? Abbott is playing over the top and makes a wonderful timed jump on the ball to bat it away. And so they ran the wheel route. Jones was lined up in that slot, and he ran toward the sideline and turned it up the field. He had the defender beaten, but with Abbott playing over the top, he's able to knock that ball down.
So the senior from La Cañada making the big play. 2nd down and 10 for Pollard. Parsons again to the air, this time out in the flat to Deshaun Jackson. He eludes the tackler, picks up 7 yards before Appenfelder pushes him out of bounds.
Boy, the zone defense is really working right now for Loyola. And it's one of the things you have to do, I think, when you're outmatched in terms of speed on the perimeter. Have to get help for guys, and they just whipped this one over in the corner to Jones. And Appenfelder, he's done a really good job, I think, of making tackles in the open field against guys who are, yes, they're much faster than he is, but when you use good technique, good sound fundamentals, it allows you to play good heads-up football, even though you may be a step slower, because Appenfelder has been able to make those tackles consistently in the open field.
We should point out that this is a 3rd down play, but the field goal units are not. And look at the explosion by Anthony Terrell Baker. You talk about speed. Wow, he flew through there before Hunter Armour was able to throw him to the ground, but he picks up 14 yards on the play.
See, they go on the quick count before the defense could get set, and then he cuts it back, and he's able to hit the hole before the defenders can get ready. Have to give him credit for also being able to break the tackle of Trayson Bragg as he gets to the second level. Watch 24. See that? He steps right out of that tackle. He's not a big guy, but Baker brings a lot in terms of his speed.
They try it again, and this time it's snuffed out. Great tackle by Cody Olson and the Cubs.
Now they blitz the run that time. Olson, the nose tackle, he's able to crease that gap and get right into the backfield and creates a loss on the play.
You know, Anthony Terrell Baker was one of the big stories, one of the big reasons why they are here. You see what he has done tonight, or what Poly has done on offense. 32 rushes, 23 passes, very balanced attack. But Anthony Terrell Baker, last year when Poly lost in the semis, said, Coach, this is not going to happen again. And he's been a big reason for their success. Looking underneath, was looking for his big tight end, Julian Hawkins, and Hawkins didn't seem to be alert to the pass.
Yeah, it was a wide pop, tight end. Once you come off that line of scrimmage, you got to get your head around. Hawkins wasn't able to adjust and get his head up. I think he wanted to get deeper before he looked back. And you can see Raul Lara's talking to Parsons saying, hey, we got to hit the guy. If he's not looking, maybe you hold on to it a little bit until he gets his head around and find him. And you have to like the poise of Lara. He gives you the impression that he never gets rattled. And that's a key thing because his players never get rattled. They turn the ball over last 4 times. They never lost their composure.
Parsons out in the flat, nearly picked off. Matt Hillier was right there. Lucky that one wasn't intercepted and taken to the house.
Very dangerous throw by Parsons that time because Hillier was there the entire time. You have to be able to see him. But he took a chance, Parsons did, and threw the football anyway.
And again, we talked about the kicking problems for Long Beach. This is probably a down that they go for it. Let's see what they're going to do.
Well, I saw Parsons leave the field.
Yes, Spoor is now coming on, so they're going to try to kick a field goal here.
If I'm Loyola, you have to watch a fake because just because they don't have their offense on the field don't mean they won't go for it.
Exactly. So for Spoor, who is actually their punter, their field goal kicker normally is Nate Smith, but Spoor is on. He actually won the job. They opened up the job during practice this week. And Mike Spoor will come on to attempt a 32-yard field goal to give Poly a 3-point lead. Deshaun Jackson, the holder, high snap, kick is up. Between the uprights and good, and Poly retakes the lead. 17-14, Long Beach Poly on top at the CIF Southern Section Championships presented by Toyota.
Excellent kick. Give the young man a chance. He'll get it in.
And welcome back. 17-14 our score. Long Beach Poly retakes the lead. A 32-yard field goal by Mike Spoor. And now the Jackrabbits kick it off. Returned by Appenfelder. Running toward the right side. He has blockers. Crosses the 30 before he's brought down. Byron Valega makes the tackle. And Solomon, we don't have replay in high school football, but check out the end of this play.
Yeah, it hit the leg of Frost, and then they make the recovery. Poly does. Number 51, he comes away with the ball. Aaron Young, but then he fumbles it. And then Loyola is able to get it back, but they had already blown the whistle, and they ruled it a non-play. They allowed Poly to get the ball, and then they go on to kick a field goal.
Yeah, Benjamin Bernstein actually pounced on the ball, and that ball actually should have been Loyola's. We'll see if that comes back to haunt Loyola in this game. Hippolyte again up the middle. They've been very effective running that little trap play inside.
The drives always start with the play. It's become their bread and butter play. They go to George Hippolyte running behind the center, Will Alvarenga. They're able to get the push up the middle and then cut it back off the center. And he's finding plenty of Alvarenga, 68. He's getting the push. He's been effective all day working against the middle of that Long Beach Poly defense and creating room to run for George Hippolyte.
The interesting thing is Alvarenga is only 5'9", 204 pounds.
Well, that's all you need because he's getting it done.
Dakey again going to work. Little play action. They've got a man incomplete. Appenfelder had a step on his man. The ball was there. He probably should have caught it, Sullivan.
Yeah, he should have caught it. And, you know, we talked about Dakey throwing line drives. Well, on this play, it has to be a line drive. See, that ball's got to get there in a hurry. Right off the hands of Appenfelder. He knows he should have caught it. Dakey saying, hey, if I throw you a heater, you better be ready. Get both hands up, not one.
So again, third down, third and short for the Cubs. They have been able to run the ball against Poly tonight. Need a first down here to sustain this drive. Again to the ground, and they do pick it up. That's Grayson Bragg, the junior, off left tackle, picks up 4 yards, and the chains will move.
So Loyola is doing what you want. If you're Steve Grady, they are getting the ball, they are moving it, and had they not muffed the punt, had it not went off the leg of Casey Frost, they would have had good field position. I thought once they would have gotten that ball game, and they're doing really well on offense right now.
Over 100 yards rushing for the Cubs tonight, 118 to be exact. Dakey, again they go Hippolyte, right side, and he pushes the pile ahead, a weight room rush there. It picks up 3 yards on the play. William Alo, the linebacker, brings him down.
Well, one of the things that have really gone unnoticed is Loyola's ability to have balance on offense. Hippolyte is hitting the creases, able to manufacture rushing yards. And Scott Dakey, he's able to get the ball going in the passing game. So right now, Steve Grady calling a really good game, mixing in that dive play with George Hippolyte, then able to get the ball up the field, throwing the ball with Scott Dakey.
Probably the last play of the third quarter. Again, a little play action. Dakey keeps it, and he's taken down for a loss by Jonathan Toyoloa. And we have reached the conclusion of the third quarter with Poly has a 17-14 lead on the Cubs of Loyola. You are watching the CIF Southern Section Championship presented by Toyota. And welcome back to the Home Depot Center. 17-14 our score. Long Beach Poly clinging to a 3-point lead as we begin the fourth quarter here at the Home Depot Center. Darren Horton, Solomon Wilcox with you. Scott Dakey out of the shotgun here on third down. Low snap, back to pass. Dakey with some time, steps up. Now he'll keep it. And he cuts it back. He's got the first down. Terrific play by the senior quarterback, Lorenzo Bercy, able to make the tackle.
Dakey showed some tremendous courage because as he took off the run, he saw Bercy coming, and these safeties have both laid a lick on Dakey during this game. And he knows he's going to get hit. He does get hit. He doesn't get disappointed that time by Bercy, but he's still able to give up his body to lunge forward and pick up the first down.
So first down at the 42-yard line. And again, it's Dakey. He wants to go out of the shotgun. He's got some time. He's got a man, but he overthrows him a little too high. They were looking for interference, but that might be a situation where the ball was simply uncatchable.
Yeah, it was way too high for the intended receiver. And the reason why that ball sailed high on Dakey, there was pressure coming in his face, and he was hit as he was releasing the ball. And right now, Poly is coming after Dakey. They were blitzing on that play, and Dakey had to get rid of that ball, and he was hit very hard.
Talk about the tradition, the long history between these two schools. This is the 15th time they have met. Of course, the last time in 2000 in the CIF championship game, it went to overtime. It was a thriller won by Poly. They hand off. It's Bragg, right side. He picks up 5 yards to set up a 3rd and 5. And we might be in an area of the field where the Cubs may opt to go for it on 4th down.
Well, you know, one thing that Raul Lara talked about from that 2000 championship game. He said Loyola ran the fumblerooski, and they caught us, and really that's how they were able to get that game into overtime. And he said, I know Steve Grady's got one up his sleeve this time around also. So you know he's been practicing, telling his guys, alert, watch out for all the trick plays, because you know sooner or later in this game you're going to get one from Steve Grady and this Loyola Cub football team.
They ran that fumblerooski last week against Los Alamitos. Dakey again out of the shotgun, going deep up the right sideline, has a man. No, incomplete. But that was a better looking pass, Solomon. He had that rainbow that you talked about when he threw the other touchdown pass.
Yeah, Armour is up, working up the field against Vincent Joseph. And Armour, look at it, he gets up the field. This ball is just thrown a little bit to the outside. But certainly a much better pass that time by Dakey, who's starting to get a better feel for how to lead his receiver up the football field and allow them to adjust to the football.
So they will punt in this area of the field. Thomas Weber on to punt. Deshaun Jackson back for the Jackrabbits. They set up the return. Jackson fair catches it at the 9-yard line. Breaking the action, 17-14. Poly with the lead here at the CIF Southern Section Division I Championship. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Home Depot Center. There you see the spoils that both teams want. That's the Division I Southern Section plaque that goes to the winner of this game. And as we mentioned at the beginning of tonight's game, if Long Beach Poly holds on, it will be the 15th one for Raul Lara. Steve Grady trying to get Loyola their 5th. But they've been to the championship game 11 times, Loyola has, so we may have an injured player on the field. It looks to be Desmond Taylor, who is down on the far sideline. Taylor is a junior from Baldwin Hills, one of their starters. And he's got a lot of size, 6'3", 270 pounds. He would be a big blow. It looks like it might just be a cramp. Don't forget, tomorrow night there's yet another exciting high school championship game. Mission Viejo will be battling Hart High for the CIF Southern Section Division II football championship. That's going to be televised by Fox Sports Net, so check your local listings for the start time of that one. That's going to be a terrific game as well.
To be a really good game. Both teams are used to being in the spotlight, playing in championship games, so you know, no one will be in awe of the other team, and that's when you're going to have a good football game, and you can expect both from Mission Viejo and Hart High School when they hook up tomorrow.
And there you see Desmond Taylor hopping off. I think he's got a cramp in the calf muscle. They were trying to work it out. Cruz Parsons, just a junior, and you look ahead for Long Beach Poly. They got Deshaun Jackson, who will be back next year. They've got Terrence Austin, who's a sophomore. The cliche is true when you talk about Poly. They don't rebuild, they simply reload.
And they get them ready to go very early.
To the ground game, Anthony Terrell Baker and Loyola all over the play. Harrigy, who had a terrific game last week, makes the tackle.
And Darren, when I talked to Raul Lara, he said that when our team hit that 2-2 mark, you know, they've won 9 straight since then, but it was at that 2-2 mark that players like Anthony Terrell Baker, they stepped up, and Cruz Parsons commanded the leadership. As you see, Theo Scott now coming into the game, so he's a guy that he'll run it. he'll get things going. He can run and throw the football.
If Theo Scott comes in, he's got the ability to do a lot. They pitch it to Anthony Terrell Baker, and that'll make 5 of Baker's last 6 carries have been for losses. Brian Ray brings him down on the tackle, so now Poly finds themselves having to punt again.
Steve Grady said at the top of our show that their defense is the reason why they are here. That great goal line stand last week against Los Alamitos, and now you see this defense is starting to come on strong. They get stronger as the game goes on, and they've been able to turn Anthony Terrell Baker back along with this Poly offense, forcing them to punt the football. They'll get good field position here.
Jim Abbott standing just inside the 50. Snap is good, and it's a really good punt. Abbott will take it at the 49. Cuts it back and runs into his own man. And I believe that was Frost who he ran into.
He was looking to try to throw a block, but he did the right thing. Abbott trying to get the ball up the football field because there was plenty of room up the middle, and he didn't hesitate. He saw the opening, he took it and got everything out of that. And now to get the ball at the 34-yard line, you shorten the field for your offense. And I said they were going to get good field position. Now you see they have it.
I understand Steve Hartman standing by with a really big Long Beach Poly fan.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have some fans out here on the sidelines, guys, but the concern right now is what's going on in this game, Long Beach Poly, because they were in control of this game right now, but they've been surprised by the physical play of Loyola. So the big fans are leaving. They want to watch the rest of this game.
That's Hippolyte going up the middle. He picks up 9 on the play. Wow. You can see Coach Grady really trying to spur on his team.
Well, we told you at the top that Loyola was big, they were strong, they were physical, and they were intense. All the things that Steve Grady represents. You know, they start that weight training and conditioning program in January, and they continue it through the spring, and when they have over the summer, of course, when they start training camp, they continue to do it, and it's paying huge dividends because this team's getting stronger here in the fourth quarter.
Hippolyte with 83 yards rushing, and they'll go back to the ground game. Fennell brings him down, and Hippolyte, they're making him their workhorse tonight.
He's getting it done. Yeah, he's getting it done. As you see the clock tick down, 7 minutes and counting, and they don't need to score quickly. Try to chew up a little time here and just work your way down the football field and get yourself into the end zone. And then, you know, the ball's in your court, and then you turn it over to your defense, and that's exactly the way Steve Grady wants it, and that's what Raul Lara wants to avoid. He does not want his team having to go the distance 80 yards against this Loyola defense because it's too difficult, and he knows that they're very good. They're going to have to take some shots down the football field.
At what point, Solomon, does time become a factor?
So I think right now, I think you as a defense, if you're Poly, you cannot allow Loyola to get into the end zone. If they get into the end zone, get the touchdown, you see Loyola does have a first down here. They get the touchdown. I think time becomes a factor then, because if they're able to chew time off the clock and score a touchdown, it's the worst thing to happen if you're Long Beach Poly.
So they pick up the first down just inside the 25-yard line. I formation for Dakey. Again, Hippolyte. No, it's Dakey keeping it on the option. Spinning across the 10-yard line. Terrific play fake there by Dakey.
A wonderful play called by Steve Grady and his offensive coaches. They fake it to the biggest threat that they've had running the football all night in George Hippolyte. Now watch the fake. Now who wouldn't bite on this one? You have to step up and take that on. But once you take that on, then Dakey has the speed and ability to get outside. And he's not just a passer, he's still an athletic quarterback. Very big, very strong. He's had 86 carries coming into tonight's game, rushed for 242 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he is also a threat to run the ball.
This time they do hand it off to Hippolyte, and he barrels his way down to the 5-yard line before William Aloe brings him down.
And do you see the physical strength and that strong offensive line for Loyola beginning to now pay off as you see Hippolyte come up limping and then goes down. He's in pain, holding that left leg, appearing to be his ankle or calf area. Hopefully he'll be okay, but you can see Loyola gaining strength as the game goes along, getting the push up front that you need, and they're just taking their time as they move the ball down the football field, getting ever so closer to that end zone.
You want to talk about the effectiveness of George Hippolyte. 12 carries, 89 yards against this Poly team. in this rematch of the 2000 CIF championship game. And Solomon, this doesn't look like a cramp. It looks like it may be a little more serious.
Yeah, it may be his ankle, and that, I mean, that's a costly injury. If you can't get Hippolyte back on the field, because he's been very effective, as you just read off his numbers from the evening. But it's his presence in the game that is now allowing the rest of the offense to open up, because not only is he effective running the ball, he's effective for the offense by faking the ball to him and doing other things off that action. Now, watch the knee ankle area. Oh, he has a big guy who falls right on his ankle. That's over 300 pounds of body and weight falling on your little bitty ankle.
So here we go, second down, goal to goal from the 5. Dakey, this time they go to Bragg and Marcus Fennell rather, makes the tackle. But this is one of the differences. Bragg has the speed, but he doesn't necessarily have the power that Hippolyte brings to it.
No, Hippolyte would step out of tackles. You can't arm tackle a guy like George Hippolyte, much bigger, stronger, but still I think has the speed to accelerate and get to the second level. That's why he's such a threat. And now they're going to have to make a really big play, and that's where Grady's going to call timeout, because he wants this third down play to pay off for him. It's a huge play in this game.
In case you're wondering, the field goal kicker is Thomas Weber. He's got a long of 46, 5 of 8 on the season. So that is an option for the Cubs of Loyola. We've got a break in the action. Timeout called by Loyola. We'll take a break. 17-14, Poly on top, 5:01 left to go in the game. Darren Horton, Solomon Wilcox, 5:01 on the clock. Big third down play from the 6. Third down, goal to goal from the 6. They send Chris Johnson in motion. Dakey calling the signals, rolling out, looking, firing, touchdown! Chris Johnson makes the grab, and Loyola takes the lead.
Oh, they just sprint out to the right. Good call. They called the timeout to draw this one up, because they sprint out and they bring the slot receiver over to the wide side of the field, and he just runs it out. That's Johnson, number 19. See, he's the slot. And then you bring Abbott inside, and see the pick on the corner. It leaves enough room for Johnson to get open over in the corner of the end zone for there. It's an easy throw for Scott Dakey.
So Weber on for the PAT, and it's a knuckleball, but it's through the uprights. And all of a sudden, Loyola jumps out on top. They take the first lead of the game, 21-17.
No, it was just a well-designed play. And that time they were able just to rub off the outside corner, I should say the slot corner on Johnson. He wasn't able to get to the outside. Grady, I tell you, he's showing us something tonight. He's calling a well of a ball game, able to get his guys in a position to make plays and get the touchdown.
Loyola has been in this position before. Steve Grady knows that this game is not over. Back in 2000, they actually led Poly with under 2 minutes to go, and the Jackrabbits were able to come back and take the lead.
And that's the thing you have to ask yourself, did they leave too much time on the clock? 4:55, that's enough time for the explosive weapons of Poly on their offense to score. They could score with 2 minutes left, because all they need is one big play from one of their many game breakers on the offensive side of the football.
So here we go. 4:55 to go. A 4-point lead for the Cubs against this powerhouse team from Long Beach, the Poly Jackrabbits. Derek Jones, Rodney Van, and Anthony Terrell Baker all back to receive it, and it's going to be Terrell Baker taking it from the 2. Brings it across the 20-yard line, and he's gang tackled there by a bunch of blue jerseys.
Well, for Loyola, it all starts with their defense. You know they're going to be flying to the ball. You know they're strong. But the quarterback, Scott Dakey, he's been the one who's gotten it done here in the second half. Whether it's running, picking up the first down, whether it's throwing the ball with accuracy, throwing for touchdowns, throwing off his back foot, allowing his receivers, Appenfelder, to adjust to the ball and get it into the end zone, and then on the sprint out to the right side, finding Johnson in the corner of the end zone to take the lead, 19-17.
9 of 24 tonight, 112 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jones in motion. Cruz Parsons looking for his tight end, but misses him. Julian Hawkins was the intended receiver, but it's incomplete. Second down for the Long Beach Poly Jackrabbits.
Well, we saw Scott Dakey lead his team down the field. Now it's the junior star. It's Cruz Parsons' turn to show his leadership and lead his team down the field, because they weren't giving good field position, but he has the weapons to make something happen.
Cruz Parsons, they send Jones in motion. They'll pitch it. Terrell Baker, right side, trying to get outside, and gets to about the 30-yard line, and this is going to set up a third down and 5 yards to go. Hunter Armour able to push him out of bounds.
And you notice they're working on the perimeter. This is nothing but a speed pitch. Trying to get his speed of Anthony Terrell Baker out on the outside. Abbott, 27, getting his hand down. Armour over there, number 22, able to get the push. But you can see Raul Lara trying to use his speed on the perimeter to outrun a very physical, strong defense for Loyola.
They pick up the first down on the play. So spotted at the 34-yard line, 4:34 to go for Cruz Parsons and Long Beach Poly. A rematch of the 2000 championship game in which Loyola led with under 2 minutes to go, only to see the Jackrabbits rally and win in overtime. 3 receivers for Cruz Parsons. Quick drop across the middle. This time he gets his tight end and another first down. Nice grab by Julian Hawkins.
Well, big play. Big down play on third down. They tried to hit this play earlier in the game, and Hawkins didn't get his head around in time, because all you want to do is clear the line of scrimmage. Doesn't time to see his head gets around early. And Carson, how about him putting that ball where it needed to be, because they had the linebacker, Brian Ray, coming over fast and would have made the interception had that ball been thrown inside.
Ian Wilson making the tackle also in the area with Brian Ray. Again, quick snap, quick pass, again out in the flat. And a pickup of 5 yards on the play. All of a sudden, they're getting their tight end involved in the offense. Julian Hawkins been quiet for most of the game.
Yeah, they tried to get him involved earlier on that wide pop, and he didn't get his head around and turn around. I'm sure they coached him up and said, hey, we're going to call this play again. And he was able to make it happen. So now he's going to be rewarded by throwing even more balls his way.
Clock continues to run down for Coach Lara and the Jackrabbits. Parsons again going to the air. Has some time, feeling some pressure, eludes one tackler, spins his way across for a first down, but we have a flag on the play.
Yeah, there's going to be a holding call here. This play is going to come back.
Haragi got in the backfield to apply the pressure. And it's holding, as you said, Solomon.
Yeah, it's going to be holding on Poly. So Raul Lara's saying, okay, do we have a play that would take care of, what is that, 1st and 20?
That's right, Solomon. They're going to march it all the way back to the 38-yard line. So it's going to be about 1st and 20.
Yeah, second down, actually, 2nd and 20. So they're going to have 2 downs to try to pick up 20 yards.
Parsons again feeling pressure. They tried to set up the screen, but it was snuffed out by Brian Ray.
Brian Ray. This screen play has worked several times for Long Beach tonight. And finally, the defense for Loyola figured it out. Brian Ray was the guy that snipped it out, understanding. And I have to keep an eye on the back, because if you allow Baker to get one step on you, you know he can take it to the house. You have to stay close. That time, Brian Ray, he read his keys, stayed in position, and made the play.
We talked about Loyola as you take another look at the play.
As you see Ray He could see it. He just kept his eyes on his man, who's Anthony Baker, took him right to the football.
Quick drop. A little too high for Deshaun Jackson, and that will bring up 4th down.
Well, they were blitzing that time. Braggs was the blitzer. He came up from that safety position to put pressure on Cruz Parson. And watch 24. See him get there. He forced a high throw. He was unblocked. Parsons had to get rid of the ball or he would have been sacked. And he actually forced a high throw because that ball could have been tipped. Braggs playing it perfectly as he disguised that blitz.
Coach Lara calls a timeout. He wants to talk it over. 21-17, Loyola on top. And welcome back to the Home Depot Center. 2 minutes, 28 seconds left to go. Loyola up 21-17. And 4th down and 20 for Long Beach Poly. They will spread out 4 receivers. You think this is a mistake?
I would not go for it. I would have punted the football. 20 yards to pick up for a first down. That's a lot.
Parsons rolling, firing, too high, intercepted. Picked off on the play. It's Scott Dickey, the quarterback. Dickey was there, and what a terrific game he's had tonight.
Yeah, Darren, I would have punted the football. Would not have wanted it to come down to one play, particularly a 4th and 20. That's nearly impossible to pick up.
An illegal block in the back on the return.
It was after the interception. And how fitting. Scott Dickey, the guy who comes up with the interception on the pass thrown by Parsons, who rolls out. And this is just a desperation throw. Trying to get it over to Jones, and Jackson's actually coming over into the area. Dickey waited for the football and was able to get the pick.
And Dickey rarely plays both ways. So the quarterback who had gotten off to such a rough start offensively, but he settles down and makes the key play defensively for the Cubs.
And that's just a strategic move by the head coach, Steve Grady. You get your best players on the field at the right time. You need a big play made. You make sure your best guys are out there. I feel like Scott Dickey gives you the best ability to come away with a big play on defense. And, hey, you roll them out there. What are you saving them for? This is money time, a moment of truth.
And how about Steve Grady? He has waited for this moment. He actually helped lead Loyola to their very first CIF championship back in 1962. He was a terrific high school player, California State High School Player of the Year his senior year. We got an injury. There's Deshaun Jackson making his way off the field. There you see the timeout situation. Each team has 2. But if Loyola wins this game, it will be their 5th CIF football championship, their first since 1990.
How about Loyola? They're able to avenge that semifinal loss last year. Last week they were able to beat Los Al, who beat them last year in the semifinals, and then the 2000 championship game, losing to Long Beach Poly. So they're 2 minutes away from avenging both losses.
So again, we told you that Poly has 2 timeouts, and they use one of them immediately right now to stop the clock with 2 minutes and 8 seconds or 7 seconds left to go in this game. Loyola, they've gotten here so many times. This is their 11th time in the championship game, but they've only won 4 titles. They have been the bridesmaid many times.
Oh, they're 2 minutes away now, but I got to tell you, this game is not over. And Poly, they have an opportunity here. They've used one of their timeouts, and wisely so, because if you get the stop on 2 more downs, you still have 1 more timeout. You can stop the clock, force Loyola to punt, and remember, you possess a number of game breakers. So all you need is that one-on-one situation with either Jones or Jackson or Anthony Terrell Baker. With the speed they have, they only need 1 step to take it to the house and put you in the lead.
Don't forget, coming up following our game, KCAL 9 News, Kerry Kilbride and Pat Harvey in the studio standing by. They're going to have the latest. Dickey again on the ground. Spin moves by Bragg, but he's brought down. Lorenzo Bercy makes the tackle. Let's see if they use their timeout. They're going to use it right now.
Yeah, you got to use it now, and then you have to get a stop here on third down. Now, Poly has to be careful because they're stacking so many players at the line of scrimmage. All you need is to pop one thing and make one guy miss, and then it's going to be no one standing between you and the end zone. You often see that happen in football on a 3rd and 1 play. You make one guy miss, and you stand up, and there's no one around you, and it's a wide open field between the line of scrimmage and the end zone. And so I think Poly's going to have to be careful. Make sure they get the sure tackle here as Loyola is facing a 3rd and 9 situation. So if they don't pick up the first down, they're going to have to punt, and you're all but insured to get the football back.
George Hippolyte is back on the field. He hasn't been running the ball, but he is back out there.
Well, if you're Loyola, you know you got to expect, if you're Poly, you got to expect Loyola to run the football. Because if they throw it and then there's an incompletion, it stops the clock. It works as a timeout in favor of Long Beach Poly. So if you're Poly, you tell yourself, you know, Steve Grady's going to try to run the football. He wants to run out the clock. With Hippolyte in there, you can expect him to run it, or you can expect Dakey to fake it to Hippolyte and then keep it himself.
So here it is, big 3rd down and 9 for Dakey. Oh, and a penalty against Long Beach Poly. It was William Alo trying to anticipate the snap count. So offsides against the Jackrabbits.
We have encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot. 3rd down.
And that's what you don't want if you're Poly. Because now you put them so much closer to the first down marker. Now you really have to make a secure tackle and not allow them to gain the 3 or 4 yards now that they need to pick up the first down when they were facing a 3rd and 9.
You think Coach Grady would dare pass in this situation?
I don't think so.
I think he's old school. He goes to the ground game. They're going to, again, try that long snap count to throw off Poly. They hand it off to Bragg. He's fighting his way. He's going to be about a yard shy.
And they came very close to picking it up. And so they're going to punt. Give the ball back to Poly.
Steve Grady again. In 2000, when these two teams met in the CIF Division I championship game, he was up. He led Poly. Under 2 minutes to go. He could taste it, but the Jackrabbits came back. Will it be deja vu? We'll see. So Thomas Weber on to punt for Loyola. Thomas Jackson. And it looks like it's going to be a penalty against Loyola as they ran the clock all the way down to 1 minute and 10. So they'll march back 5 yards. And Deshaun Jackson will be the Jackrabbit back to receive for Poly.
Yeah, they're going to put their speed on the field and allow it to work for them. So they're going to get the ball with plenty of time if you have game breakers like what Poly has.
Weber's punt is low. And Jackson picks it up. And he's brought down at the 20-yard line. So Long Beach Poly will have 1 minute to go 80 yards. They need a touchdown.
No, it's up to Parsons. I think Parsons is going to have to make the play. And if you're Raul Lara, you know you're going to take some shots down the field. And what you want to do is find the guy who's in man-to-man coverage. If you're going to double cover Jones, then you have to go backside to Jackson. Find a guy in one-on-one coverage, take a shot down the field, expect your receiver to make a play. But it all starts with protection up front. If you give Parsons time, he's got to make the throw. And if he makes the throw, the receiver has to make the catch.
So here we go. Cruz Parsons rolling out. Feeling some pressure, and he's going to be sacked at the 16-yard line.
That's what you don't want if you're the quarterback, because now no timeouts. See, the clock is ticking. That's just like a run play. It's the worst thing to happen if you're Poly on offense.
And they have to hurry up and get back. 38 seconds away from the end of the game. Parsons again. This time he throws it up deep right sideline. And that one could have been intercepted. Incomplete. So the clock stops on the incomplete pass. So now 31 seconds left on 3rd down and 12.
And all the coaches for Loyola is telling the defenders, get back. They didn't like the fact that their defensive player, who was Dakey on the play, or I should say number 21, Appenfelder, he's in a position, they felt like, hey, that's the one-on-one situation that we were talking about. They don't want to see their defenders get into that situation where it's one defender against one wide receiver for Poly, because they believe that the Poly guys are so skilled at coming down with the ball, you want to get at least 2 defenders for every receiver that's running up the field.
Parsons rolling out again and again. He's got a man this time. It's caught out of bounds. It was the running back, Anthony Terrell Baker, and he's got a 1st down. Appenfelder pushes him out of bounds. And 23 seconds left.
What a play. They roll it to the right. You see Baker slip out the backfield on the other side. See, there's Appenfelder who comes over to make the hit, but only after the catch has been made.
But they're still 61 yards away with only 23 seconds, and the Cubs can almost taste it.
I'm going to tell you, 23 seconds is enough time for these game breakers to get up the field and make a play. And as we said, it starts with protecting Parsons. You can't allow the pressure to get in, and you can't allow him to be sacked.
Parsons again with time, again looking deep, overthrew him. He was looking that time for number 4, Derek Jones. And when you have a guy that's 6'1", 175, and is an athlete like Jones, he might be able to go up and get it.
Yeah, I tell you where the open spaces are on the football field. Right over the middle, deep and over the middle. You run everyone deep, clear out, hit a play over the middle. Now, you're not going to be able to get out of bounds, only 17 seconds, but that will allow you to hit one big play over the middle. You come up, you ground the ball, that stops the clock, and then you take one more shot toward the end zone. But there is room to run over the middle in terms of throwing the football where it's wide open.
So here we go, 17 seconds left. 4-point lead for Poly. Patterson in motion. Cruz Parsons, and down he goes. A huge sack by Horrigy. The same player who came up big last week does it again. And that's going to run out the clock. Loyola has won the CIF Division I championship.
Chris Horrigy, does he come up big? We told you at the top of the show, it was defense who gets it done for Steve Grady, and it was defense that got it done again tonight. Horrigy came up with the goal line stand last week, came up with the interception, returned it for a touchdown, and then the sack tonight. We told you it's the worst thing that could happen for Poly, and Horrigy made sure it was the best thing to happen for his football team.
Horrigy closed the show last week against Los Alamitos, and he comes back and seals the deal tonight. Loyola wins it 21-17. Our Steve Hartman standing by with the champions.
All right, here we are with Scott Dakey, the quarterback for Loyola. Scott, you did it with your arm. You did the big interception. How does it feel to be the champs?
It feels amazing, sir. I mean, it's coming out. I'm so proud of all of us out here. It's almost overwhelming to know how hard we worked, and just to know that we've been in here every year and just all day. Come on, we played a great team. I'm so proud of those Poly guys. They played so hard. I mean, it's a total privilege to come out here and beat such a good team.
When you guys were 3-3, some people had doubts about this team. What turned it around for you guys?
Just a lot of heart, a lot of hard work. We really got together. Seniors took the leadership. Coaches got on us, and I think that we really just got it together.
All right, Scott, congratulations on the big win.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there he is, Scott Dakey, the quarterback and the man that made the big interception as Loyola pulls the big upset over Long Beach Poly. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Steve. Their 5th CIF football championship. They got here in 2000 and were denied by the Jackrabbits of Poly, but sweet vindication tonight. Steve Grady wins his 2nd CIF title as a head coach. He won one as a player as well. And the Loyola Cubs are the champs. Tonight's game was produced by Victor Smith and Bobby Matthews, directed by Dustin Dente. Our executive producer of KCAL9 Sports is Jeff Proctor, Associate Director Tom Mouses, Technical Director Jeremy Ward. Our station manager is Pat McClanahan. Our GM, Don Corsini. That's going to do it from the Home Depot Center. For Solomon Wilcox and Steve Hartman, I'm Darren Horton. Good night, everybody.